All right, we are live. Welcome everyone to the Dr. Hector Garcia after party. Now, Dr. Garcia can only be with us for about 15 minutes or so because he's got life stuff he's got to do too, like many of us do usually. But for me, this is part of my life stuff for doing these things, anyways. But we've been talking a little bit about my friend Irish Swede here, who just had open heart surgery and is a survivor. And we were talking a little bit about survivor's guilt and stuff like that. Oh, look at that. Now you need a zipper there now. Oh, he's showing off his sexy chest now.
My shaved nipple.
My turn.
I think we could be spared that. Thanks, Mikey. But now you were asking Dr. Garcia about his artwork in the background, and I'm kind of interested in hearing what the story behind that one as well.
That is my ex-wife's late mother's piece. She was an artist. She did a bunch of pieces. She gave me a couple of them, so that's one of them.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Red's one of my favorite colors.
Yeah, it's cool. When I was looking at it, it sort of reminded me a little bit of when the comets hit Jupiter. That little
and they
pattern.
bust up. They bust up from the immense gravity, and they can't even hold in one place to smash into it. Yeah. That is nice.
What are we talking about?
What's up, Jen Dragon?
I was rushing. I'm like, shit, I gotta make the bed. I gotta do my hair. Fuck. Because I wasn't missing this for you. You knew I would. I love you way too much, and you know it.
Well, you talking to me or Dr. Garcia?
Both.
Good cover.
Both.
Which one of us are you talking to? Yes.
Yeah.
Present.
I agree.
Hello, Mikey. Hello, Irish Swede. Hector, It is so good to see you on here.
Jen, all dry kick. Do I know you?
Wow, that sounded really white supremacist, and this is not the time, Mikey. Okay.
Triggering the entire earth at this point.
Hector, Mikey and I get crazy on this, so I'm sorry.
Hector, I asked you about your art. Don't let Jen drag me down to whatever level that she likes to reside in. I'm not part of that. Rest assured.
The best level, boo.
They named it after us.
Oh my God. Hector, how are you?
Good.
I am so glad to see you on here. Your story has been needing to be told for way too fucking long.
Got a
Neil.
lot of stories.
Hey, Randolph.
Hey, how's it going?
Your stories are the best stories, Hector. They're the best. Seriously. If you guys are ever in front of Hector, just sit around him and just listen. He tells the best stories. He's completely captivating, and there's always a lesson in every one of them. They're awesome.
That's fantastic.
I was
Got a
just,
story to tell us, Hector?
Jen has never listened to someone's entire story, so I'm calling shenanigans.
I have listened to Hector's. Fuck off. I have listened to Hector's.
long conversations.
Yes. See? Stop fucking trying to make me look bad, you piece of shit.
And Jen just did a live podcast the other day. I listened to it. I thought she was doing great.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mikey. Sorry, Mikey. I can't side with you on that one.
Mikey, Famine of the Bin. What does that tell me about the podcast?
No cheese fries for Mikey.
Yo, come on, man. Let's talk about this. Use your big girl words. Don't just cut me off. You can't cut me off with cheese fries like this.
Over the fire, good plants. That's cool.
The what?
Just a little background.
Oh, the design he's got behind him.
Air,
fire, water.
Oh, Mikey's being nice about his backgrounds tonight. Mikey likes to mimic our rooms.
Are you tempting me?
There's a new one, boo-boo. Go for it. There's
Mikey's always tempted.
Mikey likes to mimic my background and sit in my bedroom.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Because that's the closest he'll ever come to it. So.
Oh, shots fired.
That's because of my restraining order.
So that means Mikey likes it.
Mikey, that's not current.
Oh, you switched it up on me. You something. I'll get you again. Don't worry about it.
What's up, Hector?
I don't do couples counseling, just so you know. So you're going to find it out.
You doing couples counseling is probably as effective as me doing couples counseling.
And that's something I just I did it once. I'm like, oh hell no, I'll never do that again.
No, it's too
It
much
was a
ego.
mistake.
Too much to.
Mistakes were made.
Mm.
But my podcast is me and 4 other idiots like myself wrapping up the week's events on Earth from
Earth.
from like Chicago, California,
So it's
West.
been pretty boring this year, huh?
Yeah, we haven't had anything to talk about. West Essex and Umbria, Sweden. So we have wildly different takes on everything.
That's for you, Hector.
I would love to come to Sweden. I would love to come to Sweden. Yeah.
Well, definitely the next time you're up here in Vancouver, the fellow below me, Randolph Richardson, is the president of Canadian Atheists, by the way, and going to be my partner in crime on a new call-in talk show, very much like Atheist Experience, Talk Heathen kind of thing, very soon, which is something I want to talk to you about, Mikey.
Yep.
After all of this, I want to actually, we can do like a video call or something. I want to talk to you. I got some stuff I want to run by you. So
There's something I need to talk to you about quickly just before that too, Neil. But it's
Sure.
unrelated.
Damn, there's all these backroom deals and shit going on.
And just and
big
speaking of
time.
crime and stuff, we will be accepting callers who are criminals and non-criminals alike.
Yes, I can call in.
They're not. They didn't know about the mind crimes. They didn't know about your mind crimes. You just confessed. Like you could have just kept that.
I never said which ones I did and which ones I didn't. Mike,
We know.
some.
We have a fairly good idea.
Some. I do want to touch real quick, Hector. I know that I don't know if it's getting a little crazy in Austin tonight. How is everything up there by you?
It seems pretty chill in San Antonio, but they blocked off I-35 in Austin.
Oh shit, Mikey, how's it over there?
Absolutely fine, just like it was absolutely fine in St. Louis during Ferguson.
Well, shit.
well, there's shit going down in Seattle near me. So
Nashville's popping off right now too.
Is it really?
Mhm.
Even Omaha is popping off.
Wow.
wow.
People
I
say
read somewhere that the protesters stormed the White House barricades today.
that was a mistake.
Yeah, the Secret Service had a little too much fun.
Yeah, that you don't fuck around with Secret Service. They'll leave. you
Nah,
out.
they
That's
will
anything.
spray your ass right
Uh-huh.
the fuck down.
There's not enough
worth it.
Maylocks in this world for their fucking equipment.
Oh, I
There
wasn't
is.
talking about pepper spray.
Oh well, yeah,
They will street sweep that whole block.
and they have the jurisdiction too.
exactly.
They
So
have it.
it's
I just
not
want to make
worth
sure
it.
everyone's okay. Irish Sweet, I don't exactly know where you are.
Omaha.
Omaha, how is it getting?
There's the police. There were a bunch of protesters that were blocking a major artery through the city, and the police basically incited some violence to clear them out, and it turned kind of violent. But we're Omaha. We're 97% white, so it's not really that big of a deal here. I don't think. Lincoln has been popping off, which is 60 miles down the road,
Yeah, I
Lincoln,
can see
Nebraska.
Lincoln. I can see Lincoln. And
With the school. So that, University of Nebraska is down there. And so they're popping off a little bit harder than we are. But, that's only a town of 300,000 people.
shit, that's more than I'm
That's
living
tiny.
in. Yeah, that's still more than I'm living in.
Mikey,
And-
I think you forgot to turn your microphone off
You
earlier.
forgot to turn your microphone off.
When you went to pee there.
Making a drink.
What's in the glass though, Mikey?
Didn't-
Don't ask.
Mikey, after lifting that
It's
glass,
brown.
You
Why
really
would
should-
it be brown?
you really should see
I
a
don't
doctor
wanna know
for
what's
that,
in the glass.
Mikey. You should
Oh, that-
really see a
Am I
doctor
bad?
for that.
That would be
Okay.
rhabdomyolysis, and you should really see a doctor.
Yeah, I don't have brown urine. I wouldn't be hanging out with y'all if my urine was brown. I'd be crying somewhere and probably trying to sneak into a pharmacy to get any kind of pill. to save me
Crying and
from the
eating
brown
Cipro
pee.
like it's M&M's.
Look at Mikey pretending to be clueless. Haha.
So Hector,
All right.
what have you been working on? I'm sorry, Neil. I totally took over.
No,
your show.
I was just going to say, if anyone has questions for Hector, now's
Yeah.
the time, because he can only be with us for a
I'm
short
trying
bit.
to figure out what I'm going to do next. I've been thinking about starting a podcast. Just we got lots of stuff to talk about. I think it'd be fun.
Yeah.
Yes, please do that.
I'd like to do that. I'm in the middle of a move, so as soon as I get into my new house, like starting to get some equipment, maybe. I'm thinking about that. We'll see.
You should definitely do that.
Yeah, I'm in the 4. I'm in the yay category for that one.
Yeah.
All in favor?
The eyes have it.
Well, I have 5 guaranteed subscribers. So
Well,
Yes.
I'd be another one.
The first 5 are the hardest 5 to get, let me tell you.
Yep.
Oh, I'll subscribe to.
You've got 5 right here, so that
And I'll
I
even
guess
watch a
makes
few
10.
videos.
Oh wow.
a lot of people I'd like to talk to, a lot of scientists, a lot of people in the evolutionary psych field, and
That would be so cool.
Well,
Evolutionary psych and economics need to work together because there's a lot of how consumer behavior works that needs a better partnership than what it currently has.
there's some research coming out. Yeah. Yeah.
Irish Sweet, I suspect there's probably a lot of scientists don't like marketers.
Well, marketers are one thing, but it's how, like, see, I'm an economist by trade, and so I try to work with what consumers do with, and with Evo Psych and with Evo Devo, trying to get into what the back recesses of our brain make us do with certain stimuli, and trying to connect that into how consumers react.
There's some cool research coming out on spending behaviors and sex ratios. So when
the more you're not getting, the more you're spending.
Where there's more men, they tend to spend more because competition, like lavish things, luxury things, get into consumer debt more.
Look where Jen went. Look where Jen
Sounds
went.
like me.
Fuck off. Everyone knows about me. All right, Mikey. Fuck you. We knew that was going to come out of my fucking mouth. Okay.
It's like, what? Who's not getting enough? Spending more money? Is that me?
Hector, it sounds like the peer pressure is a bigger factor than people realized.
Yeah.
Well, there's that, but in investing behavior, the whole going back, a couple 100,000 years of I have food on the table, therefore I'm willing to take more risk, versus I have 0 food on my table. I'm actually going to take enormous orders of magnitudes of more risk to be able to get food on that table, even if it's at great personal risk to my own life. So or I said that wrong. At the very beginning, I have food on the table, I'm not going to take any risk, even though that's when you should be taking risk today in today's, investing culture. Whereas we act like we're 200,000 years ago when we're investing in how, when, and where we should take risk. And so that's some of the, long-term effects of of psych on investing behavior.
So, Irish Sweet, I have a question for you. Hi, I'm Mikey Famine, by the way. There's been talks of blackouts and certain populations not spending any money on certain days. Do you think, as an economist, that any of that has any effect on anything?
Long-term, no.
That's what I said.
I
Mike,
agree.
that was a damn good question, though.
You could affect now. Depends on how long that blackout is. Because if it's a day, it doesn't matter.
Right. They can write that off.
3 days, it doesn't matter.
They probably won't
Because
notice. Because people after 3 days will spend more to make up for what they lost.
exactly. Well, there's that, and with the supply chain and how things are booked, month by month, they won't notice a day missing.
Yeah.
Especially if they take the 15th off, they're just going to go out and buy what they needed anyway the next day.
So would a wiser plan be the quarter, to really, like, if something got blacked out for a quarter, and that would make the investors a little nervous?
If you were going to boycott something, you're going to have to literally boycott it for however long it takes for that company to change their behavior. You cannot relent.
Most consumers don't have the patience for that, though. They'll eventually go back and buy their Sony equipment or whatever was boycotted. Yeah.
We saw that with Michaels. Was it Michaels or was it Joanne Fabrics?
Hobby Lobby.
was Hobby Lobby. Thank you. Why was I thinking Michael's? We saw that with
Because you're
Hobby Lobby.
wrong.
Your whole fucking face is wrong. Fuck you. We saw that with Hobby Lobby. Everyone was up in arms about it. Papa John's. Everyone was up in arms about Papa John's. Chick-fil-A. What happened?
But you have to look at it in ways of what's replacing what you're boycotting. And can that replacement sustain a boycott over time?
I think that often is missing from these boycotts is there isn't an alternative suggested, isn't one that's recommended that people switch to. And I think a lot of the time people are afraid of getting sued for doing something like that. So they'll just talk about the boycott without talking about buy this one instead.
Well, then you get into, okay, what's your motivation for recommending Popeyes instead of Chick-fil-A?
Mm-hmm.
And if you have any connection to Popeyes, your message is just, it's gone.
Garbled. Yeah. Yeah.
So economics is fun, and I love the Evo psych connection that we can possibly get on this, because that would be so awesome to be able to look at how that evolutionary mind of ours doesn't work in today's environment, but it did 5,000 years ago.
Yeah. Well, there's some emerging research in that area, and it's been said that all psychology is evolutionary psychology. It's all evolutionary psychology. I mean, whatever.
That's what I think too.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Clinical psychology, even.
Yeah. As a species, we continue to evolve anyway, so all sorts of new sources for this stuff is going to come up through evolutionary methods anyways.
One exception I can think might be armchair psychology.
How do you feel about armchair psychology, Hector?
That's actually a good question. I'm curious to know what you think of others that aren't schooled in it that try to help people.
Some are brilliant and some are not. What can I say?
That sounds like
Hector is
people who are schooled in it.
Hector is like the nicest non-drama person in the whole world. Like he never gets he gets worked up, but he handles it in this like way, and it's like I look at him and go, God damn it, I'm never gonna fucking be that ever in my life. Shit. I'm never gonna be that way.
Yeah, but Jen, you're a pit viper. We need people like you here.
Yeah. Why? And it's the tiny ones, which
We
I'm
can just
sure
throw
Hector,
you into the foray and go get him, Jen.
it's always the little ones, which I'm sure Hector has laid out a whole psychological path on me about being the tiny one as loud as I am.
Russell Terrier. Yeah.
Wouldn't you agree with that, Mikey, after all the beatdowns you've had in this session already?
She's more like a puff adder.
I will bite your
She's
fucking kneecaps,
done
Mikey.
like
I
this
will
small.
bite
But she
your
builds up with
kneecaps.
hair to expand her size many times.
I mean, I'm
What do you
Italian.
want?
I am Italian. If I don't wax, I could puff up with hair to make myself
Yikes.
appear larger.
Air. I said
Jen
air,
the throw rug.
not hair. Air, you nasty. You little nasty.
You're the one that took it there. It could be arm hair. You're the one that took it there, not me.
Right.
Making me laugh makes my broken bone hurt.
Oh man.
Now, Hector, if this was a married couples counseling session, where would you start?
Let me refer you to one of my colleagues who does this.
Because I'm not dealing with this shit.
Some people like it. It's not my bag. It's too chaotic.
He'd be like, the courthouse is that way about 12 months. Go to this clerk. Speaking of courthouses, the Nashville courthouse is burning.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. That just popped up for me right there. So
So do you think they've been successful at making America great again now?
Randolph, why do you have to bait me? Why?
Oh,
I
if I knew you were going to ask, I would have held off.
Hector puts me in a very chill mood. I'm here.
I'm not here to stir the shit in somebody else's pool. I'm here to just crack jokes about Jen. Tell Neil his music is great, and everybody should check them out on fucking SoundCloud or Bandcamp, SoundCloud, that thing.
Bandcamp's where you can buy it if you want to, but I'll give you my music for free. It's at that point now where I don't
buy
care.
it anyway. Go to www.patreon.com/Neil the 604 Atheist. That's what I'm here for.
And where can we find Hector's stuff for purchase? That's what I'm curious about.
It's somebody in the chat's like, does truth exist? Well, yeah, of course it exists.
Where can we find Hector's amazing books?
Truth is what the facts
And
are.
purchase. That's what I'd like to know.
Oh, I have links in the original interview that I did. I have links there for both of them.
Good, because
Boom.
Hector's talking about things that we don't talk about in this community. The why and the psychology behind not my personal reasons, not my experiences. He actually delved into the psychology of God.
Yep.
Which is not something we really talk about much.
Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Audible. Seth Andrews does
Are you the one reading the audiobook?
No, Seth Andrews.
Seth Andrews. Oh, yeah.
Oh my God! There's this liquid that's all the way up to my hips.
You,
and my-
Mikey.
what is happening? There's been
Fuck
a
you,
flash flood
Mikey.
warning.
Seth has the
Oh, man.
greatest. Wait.
What is?
Yeah, there it is.
I was gonna-
God.
Seth has one of the
Oh,
greatest
God.
voices I've ever heard in my life. So
Have you not heard Neil?
And
I
you're
hear
right,
you.
you know,
I said one of, not the only.
he was really a perfectionist. I mean, he would call me, how do you pronounce this word? And so we were looking up like Aztec pronunciations of these different deities and stuff. So yeah.
Well, that's high quality. Yeah.
Can I be an Aztecian? Because I think everybody is garbage at this point. I hate everybody. Can I be something that like their religion already failed? Like, can I just pick something that hadn't worked? I'm
So
an
you're gonna-
ancient Egyptian.
So
now.
you're gonna be a Christian again?
Nah. They're too popular right now. I need something more niche. Like I'm gonna worship like
Bacon.
what Stonehenge? What they did? Who was their people?
Oh my God.
We don't even know. That's a
We
dead
know.
religion.
Yeah, if y'all don't even know the shit, that's my religion. I'm the Stonehenge-ian.
So, Mikey, all
I don't care.
the polytheists are losing their minds right now. You know this.
They don't even know who I am. It's fine.
They watch this shit.
Ocean and Wolf are just like their
I'm
brain
gonna
is
call- I'm gonna
melting.
call
Hey,
them.
yo, Ocean and Wolf know where to find me. They don't want no smoke. They don't want no smoke.
Speaking of Ocean and Wolf, I would love to say that they are awesome because I'm Swedish as my heritage, and they are great about answering questions about heritage things and what.
Very
you know.
cool. Yeah. Wolf
Ocean
and
and Wolf are
Ocean
assholes.
are awesome.
Nope, Ocean and Wolf are fucking assholes, and that's that.
I will fight both of them in the streets of Glasgow tonight. Bring it,
Ow.
cowards.
I like them too. We don't always see eye to eye on things, but I find them to be very nice people.
Tag team wrestling match with metal chairs. Me and Randolph versus Ocean and Wolf.
Mikey, oh my
Bring
God.
your fucking best. I'm not
getting
afraid of
involved
none of
in
y'all.
I'm just
Bring
not.
it.
I'm you know what? And that was
I'm
the
rowdy.
point. That was the point in my brain the last few days where my brain entirely quit in that moment. You
Like-
said metal chairs
like-
and my fucking brain.
It's a ladder match.
I
No, but
that was
it's like
that was
literally the world is so broken. I refuse to be serious on the internet for at least a good 6 months.
oh shit.
I refuse. I absolutely refuse. It's so bad right now.
It
And,
is.
and you're getting the bad from like 80 different directions. And that people act like they don't care when they hear stuff, but you act different after you hear something. I know that because I work retail and you little nasty motherfuckers come in here with an attitude. And I didn't even say anything to you. I just said hi. And you got mad at me. You're being affected by the news and by
I
the
didn't get mad
Let
at
him-
you.
This is his therapy. Let him.
No, I'm just
Let 'em.
saying. Everyone acts like, oh, well, things are happening in parts of the world. No, people are really upset. So my contribution to the rest of the interworld, I'm not going to be fucking serious with you guys. Like, I'm going to make you laugh and smile. I'm going to make fun of Jen so that the other Jen can laugh. Like, I'm going to do these things.
Good.
But my sternum hurts so much when you make me laugh. Oh.
Shut your
Here's the
goddamn
question.
mouth. Some people have to be sacrificed, Irish Sea.
And I'm moving to Canada. How does that sound, guys?
I'm trying to get up to Canada too, but
I
I'm
can
going
help you
off
out
the
here.
coast.
Same. I'm going to Neil's. I don't know if anybody else is.
If
I'm
you
going
come-
the other way.
You can come to my
If you come
family's
through
in Roma.
IVR, Neil and I will greet you personally.
I'd
Yeah,
love that.
you betcha.
Love that.
Hector,
Mikey,
if
Neil
you
would rather
actually-
have boobs in your face, so no loss.
Amazing.
If you want to, Hector, if you want to come to Malmo, we've got a family house there.
To where? I'm sorry?
Malmo.
Where's
Sweden.
that? Oh, God. Yeah. I would do that. Yeah.
So
I
you're
wanna go to
familiar with Sweden? Like, is it Umbria? Uria? It's if you go towards the. I'm sorry, their fucking letters have fucking shapes and like squares, and it's not real actual like adult languages. It's
Oh my God.
Monkey!
I'm asking.
I just about spit beer all over everything here. Jeez.
I had to get Neil. Is
All
that
right, if you're talking about the one that looks like an I with the P in the middle of it, that's a TH.
Look how we had to describe it.
I
I with
agree,
the
Donna.
PH in
I
the
am
middle.
worried about Mikey too. Hector, can you help? Please.
If Hector wanted to help, he would have jumped in already. Okay.
No, he's evaluating, Mikey. He's evaluating right now.
He's not done yet. Let him finish. Damn.
No. I turned that button off after close of business.
Are you gonna pay Hector to evaluate me?
Yeah, no.
You're the one working right now. Shit.
Are you
You're
paying
talking about the money.
It's not ethical to do evaluations over the internet. They have to be in person.
That's right. And also, you shouldn't, you shouldn't have a million people watching you.
That's a good question for
14.
Hector. Is how hard is it not to make a statement about our president, knowing and not to make a statement that would be considered a diagnosis or anything like that. If somebody were to ask you about the situation,
I and a lot of other people have done that publicly. And the interesting thing is, Charles Krauthammer, he was this Fox News mouthpiece for Fox News, and he before the election he says like Trump's not qualified because he's just so narcissistic. He just has probably narcissistic personality disorder. Well, this guy was not only a conservative mouthpiece for Fox, but he was a psychiatrist who contributed to the DSM, the diagnostic manual we use to diagnose psychiatric conditions.
Yeah.
A controversial book.
Yeah. There's an old quip about narcissists where they see themselves as a piece of shit at the center of the universe, right? So it's all compensation. Right? I mean, I haven't seen it, but like nobody does all that if they really have a healthy self-esteem. It's all to compensate.
I do have a question about some stuff I've encountered in debates from time to time, particularly with Christians. I've run into it where they'll bring up an example. We're talking about objective morality or that kind of subject, and then they'll cite some kind of example that involves something involving a very serious offense like rape or something, and or they'll describe something that involves feces or things like that. And I'm thinking, they don't really need to go to that extent. I'm wondering if you could give possibly some insight on what might be going through their minds on this kind of thing. I don't know if that's your area.
I'm not sure what you mean. So they're talking about objective morality and start talking about feces and rape?
Yeah, so they bring up an example when we're debating this, and because they think that all morals come from their God, but then they'll try to challenge by bringing up an example, and they'll pick something that's excessive, like a scenario where somebody's been raped multiple times, or that I had one guy talked about a kangaroo popping up out of nothing in the living room and defecating all over the books, and I'm thinking, you don't have to go to all that extent. You can just talk about popping up in the living room. That should be enough. And it seems odd to me that they're adding these extra things in. It's almost like they're trying to shock the audience or something, but I'm not really sure. And I'm wondering if you might have any insight onto what might be going on in their heads that they feel the need to go so far, or if you've seen this kind of thing before.
I think that kind of went over my head a little bit, to be honest. Talking about a kangaroo popping out of the ether and crapping all over the book as an example of.
Yeah, well, yeah, they're trying to challenge ideas, right? I'm thinking the point is they don't need to go to the part of the kangaroo taking that action. Just the kangaroo popping up should be enough. But they seem to often elaborate and bring extra unnecessary points like that in. So that's kind of what I'm trying to understand is why they think that way.
Maybe the argument itself isn't that strong, so they feel they have to.
That's what I would say. Yeah.
Get overly
kind of distraction.
Or a distraction, right? A smokescreen, who knows? Yeah.
It's like they were asking in the comments, or that Dawkins minion guy was going, where does truth come from? What do you mean, where does it come from? It's a word we invented to describe something. What else do you need to know?
Yeah, I face that too. With
Truth is what the
with,
facts are.
with language itself. It's like, well, how do you know murder's wrong? I go, because murder itself is wrong, because that's how we define what murder is. You have to back that up to, is killing wrong? And so people are like, well, murder's wrong. I go, yeah, it is, because that's how we define what murder is.
Yeah, as
a
a society.
wrongful killing.
Yeah, I mean, it's if you kill a mosquito, is that wrong?
Hell,
If I
no.
kill
From a
someone who
Swedish
breaks into
perspective,
my
I suppose
house
would
and
be.
is coming at me with a knife, is killing wrong then?
You just described a mosquito.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I live in the
have a question
Midwest.
for
I know
Hector.
exactly what that is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Knife
Mosquito
meaning
the size of-
proboscis.
Oh wait,
The
Mike, you
mos-
can't shut the fuck up. Hold on.
Well, I gotta get rolling. Thanks so much for having me on, Neil. Hector,
No, you're not going anywhere.
Iris,
No,
Sweet,
you're not fucking leaving. Shut up.
Randolph,
Hey,
Yeah.
and then
No.
Mikey,
No.
we got to ask you, rolling what?
Rolling what?
Ooh.
rolling what?
The doe eyes when he said that was fantastic.
I don't know what y'all are talking about. I don't.
Well, you
Oh,
said
I
you need
put
to
it-
get rolling. I'm asking you, rolling what?
Look, man, are you a cop? Like, what are you asking?
Yeah,
right
like-
now? you asking me a lot of questions right now.
Don't you
and I
have a
don't feel
protest to go
comfortable.
incite violence on right now, Mr. Policeman? Fuck are you doing?
You're right. Why don't you put your goddamn umbrella over your shoulder and start busting out auto zones?
Oh boy.
Anyway.
What was your
Um,
Jen, you had a question? What was the question? I
Yeah,
don't know questions.
being an atheist and being such an outspoken atheist, how is it dealing with a patient that has a very deep rock founding in faith and would rather guide their therapy through faith, through prayer, and use that as a leaning method as opposed to
Science.
science?
Honestly, I don't encounter that much, but if somebody says that they use their faith to cope, I encourage it, I mean, I'm dealing with people who are very, very, not well and struggling. Some people say, like, that's where I get my social support from. I'm like, well, then go back to church, if that works for you. I keep that. But honestly, in my work, it doesn't come up a lot because I strictly do evidence-based psychotherapy. So they're very training oriented. So like every session has there's an agenda and there's things to teach and there's things to implement. So it's very, very structured.
As opposed to the one-on-one, this is kind of the typical on the couch kind of thing.
But I do have a lot of people who who tell me very reluctantly, very sheepishly, I didn't want this, but I don't really believe. Like, and I'm like, yeah, it's cool. I don't either. But that comes up a lot. Like people are sheepish about telling me that. In Texas, go figure.
Oh yeah, well it's Texas and it's Texas and it's not. I mean, San Antonio is not a small town, but it's not a larger.
Very Catholic, very Catholic.
Very Catholic, very larger town, but still small town vibe mentality about it. Yep.
They're
It's
up
a-
to
it's
2.5
military
million people,
town.
though, aren't they?
Hmm?
Isn't San Antonio clear up to like 2.5 million? That's growing.
I forget
Great
the size.
guns.
It's one of the top 10 biggest cities. It's a big city.
But
Yeah.
it's a military town, so it still kind of has this military town smallish vibe
It does have a small vibe to it.
about it. It's bizarre. It's really fucking weird.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, I thought it'd be more progressive.
What the fuck is this out here? Sir Thomas Lipton would like to know what everyone's favorite brand of tea is.
Twinnings, bitch.
Yorkshire Gold.
I like Lipton tea.
Twinnings.
Yorkshire Gold.
The real shit.
Yorkshire Gold. Well, I'm there's what are they? Tazo or Tazo, I think,
Tazo.
makes a really, really, really good Earl Grey. and I'm a big Earl Grey
Really?
guy. Oh yeah.
Okay, Captain Picard.
Oh, fuck off.
Oh come on! I was drinking Earl Grey before I even saw Star Trek: Next Generation. So
Yeah,
it's because of my dad. That was his big tea, and he kind of made me on it. So
Star Trek was inspired by Neil.
yeah, what? No. Yeah, you got evidence for that?
What the fuck? Like, I have been hanging around all of you too long because y'all just getting like meaner and meaner, and like to the point that even I'm like,
It's all good fun jabs. It's okay.
no, I know, but what the fuck has quarantine done to everyone? Everyone used to be so much nicer. I was the bitch. Now
I'm just happy.
I eat now.
I'm just happy we were able to get together finally for the band today.
I
The
know.
jam.
I heard. I was there for that before I jumped in the shower. What the fuck, Dick? Stay there. Sorry. I'm yelling at inanimate objects again. So,
Oh, I thought it was just a really short guy named Dick.
the possibility with me. Yep. It's absolutely a possibility with me, although not in the time of COVID. I'm not going to infect the other people in my home.
Yeah, our
Maybe.
bass player works in old folks' homes, so he was wearing the mask today. But they get tested like every 2 weeks where he works, so because they have to, right? So
that's why we don't get no tests here in the States, because y'all Canadians over there double, triple testing and shit.
yeah,
So,
we're,
so Neil, how is the population of COVID deniers there in Vancouver where you live? Is that a thing?
they're there, but I mean, yeah, I hear people talking about it. Like a friend of mine will be talking about it, and he'll go, "Yeah, so how many people do you know that have got this?" I'm like, dude, that's not even really relevant because I personally know 2. All right, and also my bass player works in an old folks home, and he knows many people that have gotten it. So that's not. If you want to deny that this thing is as bad as it is, a lot of them think it's just like a flu kind of thing, but then they don't really realize the
Hey, Neil, your
severity of
volumes
it.
are going up and down a lot.
Mine is.
Yeah, you're coming.
Well, it's probably because I rock back and forth, but I mean,
they're really loud and they're really low, and
Yeah.
well, all right. So basically,
excuse me.
it's not as bad as I see it down there in the States.
Yeah, I saw.
I had the same observation.
At the grocery store, arguing with the manager because she didn't have a mask on. And the manager said, "You need the mask on." Trust me, it's all political. Trust me, I know. And I'm like, oh, God.
No, it's not. It's about safety. No,
Something that the whole world is in on. Please. I mean, it's just bizarre. The capacity.
Surprisingly, we don't find that in Nebraska, which you would typically, we're
would
a
think.
red upon red state,
Yeah.
except for Omaha. Omaha is blue. We're one of the 2 states that can split their electoral votes.
I was gonna say Nebraska's kind of more purple considering Omaha.
Yeah, it's so you don't find many around in here. Now, if you went out west where it's super red, I bet you would find a lot more that way. But
It has been.
you have to take a little bit of that with they're so spread out anyway that I doubt that they'll really
Man,
understand.
I went to go pick up my kids' school supplies from the school, and the way they had to do it was you drove around, and they had they took the kid's name, and then they went and got their bag of stuff, and then brought it out to you. And as I'm waiting, I see his principal with her mask.
you are correct, Donna.
Like
We
that.
had 11 the other day new
Yeah.
cases, 4 new cases. BC is doing actually very well at keeping that curve down.
She had the mask below her nose, and she's right in the face of her staff and her colleagues handing out. She has no gloves on. And I'm just like, I think I may take the option of homeschooling my child next year.
Well, the glove thing, I get the idea behind it, but it's more like I say, if you can't get to wash your hands, just keep sanitizer around. Because the glove thing, every time you touch something with the gloves, well, now you got to change your gloves.
She wasn't doing that. She was standing outside grabbing bag after bag after bag. I saw her one time go like this.
Oh,
Bag
that's
after,
bad.
and I was just like, I looked at my mother when I got back. I took my gloves off, and I went like this, and she sprayed me with Lysol. She actually physically sprayed me with it. I was like, I don't trust her. Get this. And then I put another set of gloves on, took the mask off, and then took all that off because I was like, I don't trust her. She probably laced my car full of COVID. Just burn. I'm just gonna burn the car to the ground. Get the matches. I was like, you know what? Fucking get the matches.
You can get something to spray in there. You don't have to burn.
Not
it
here.
down.
Not here.
Where are you at, Jen?
Order it from Canada.
I was
On the black market.
thrilled that I found Clorox wipes and Charmin today.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I can send you a bottle of bleach mix stuff that we've got that works great.
I have bleach. It's just mixing it.
Just mix it with water.
I know.
1 part bleach, 3 parts water.
But I found Clorox wipes and Charmin. I found Charmin today. I haven't seen Charmin in weeks. I haven't seen it in weeks. I was thrilled. I was like, holy shit. And then I felt like, should I smuggle it under my shirt so nobody knows that I have it? And like I felt like I had to smuggle it. And then I saw the little Clorox travel. Fuck you, stop being a Karen. I'm not buying up all this shit and fucking screaming, where's your fucking Charmin? Get me a goddamn manager. I'm just genuinely excited that they were there. I was excited. And that's fucking sad. That is sad that something as simple as toilet paper. In the 18th century, nothing is available. That's why I'm not in the 18th century, Pine Snake. Fuck off. That's why I don't go there.
Oh, I was going to ask you about Jordan Peterson, but very good talking with you.
Yeah, nice talking with you. Good.
Are you here, Hector?
Pardon me?
You taking off?
Yeah, I got to take off. Thanks for having me. Really fun. Really good.
You did double the amount of time I figured you would do. So thank you for doing that.
Pleasure. You guys have fun.
Thanks for coming on.
Thanks.
Later.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Bye.
I love Hector.
I like this
love
one.
Hector.
Hang on. Jen is in the 18th century. Nothing.
No, this is why I don't go to the 18th century. This is exactly fucking why I don't go to the 18th century. That's why I don't like it there.
This is not what you use, Glass Monster. What we use at work to sterilize the place while everyone is gone is a ozone machine.
Mm-hmm.
You sterilize the entire place. We've got 4 or 5 of them around the warehouse, and it just wipes out anything that's there.
And for me, it's more contact surfaces that I need the disinfectant for, like packages.
Ozone does it.
Coming in.
We're going to use the detergentless washer we're going to get here pretty soon that uses ozone in the water.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever heard of that?
No.
Yeah, it's you basically it's only a cold water intake, and it flushes the water with ozone. Neil, you could tell us how that works, but you essentially no detergent. The ozone kills the bacteria, kills what you know.
And does it take out like the stains and shit?
Yeah.
No, it won't take the stains.
Well, you use like you'll pour OxyClean or something like that in it.
OxyClean is different.
I was gonna say I have a kid. Like, no, there needs to be some stain
but
fighting.
It takes away. Yeah, well, there's that, but like it kills everything that would produce a smell or anything like that.
What ozone does is it breaks down proteins.
Right now.
So I guess in a sense it could help with stain reduction, but it's not. That's not. You're going to have other things in that detergent that are going to do that. But ozone will break down protein bonds, and so viruses and stuff like that can't survive in the atmosphere with ozone in it.
These right now.
There's a problem with that. The way that it was explained to me for people who live like out in the country that have leach fields, where the excess water gets into their leach field and it kills all the bacteria.
Oh, the good stuff that you want.
The good stuff that you want.
Yeah. Ozone can do that. Yep.
Holy shit, these are shockingly cheap.
Yeah, you can actually buy an ozone thing for your current washer for
They're like
$100.
this big.
Yeah.
They're like an old school clock radio. They're that big, really.
And you never have to buy detergent again. You have to buy like OxyClean to just, take out the stains, but that's it.
Sorry, Glass. I already have people that are ahead of you for coming on here, and we'll talk about you coming on my after parties another time. Not at the moment. It's okay.
Sorry, I thought I hit the mute before I coughed.
I was unemppressed with a few comments.
I
in the
know
last one, so.
water will kill COVID-19, but I'm terrified of. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah,
you can. I didn't see him. I'm sorry.
You're muted.
If Jen could just like stop talking over me for 5 seconds,
You were muted.
She didn't know that, Neil. Damn. She wasn't paying attention. I actually do have a previous obligation. I'm gonna go ahead and take care of that. If you guys are still hopping and bumping, sounds fantastic. I'll sneak my way back in. But either way, Neil and Randolph, I'll talk to y'all in a bit.
Yeah.
Yep.
Great talking to you, Mikey.
And skadoosh.
I love Mikey and I hate him all at the same time.
He's so magical with the way he exits.
So yeah, soap and water does work.
Click a button.
When you're coming in from my house, there are 8,000 things to potentially touch on the way to the sinks. And I absentmindedly will touch fucking all of them. And I know I will. So because I'll walk through the house and just be like, touch, touch, touch. And then I'll be like, yes.
What did I just do? Oh, shit.
Oh, I don't know. Oh, shit. And I do this constantly. I'm like this constantly.
Oh, me too.
Yeah. So I'm like, you know what? Just give me the Lysol and just give me the gloves. we have a little we have a bin.
Just mace yourself with Lysol.
Oh, this hurts.
The COVID-19 doesn't kill you, then all this spray.
Yeah, right.
Oh
If I don't die from
goodness.
COVID, I'm gonna die from the fucking aerosol shit that I'm spraying all the time.
I'm gonna die from laughing and my sternum splitting back open.
We have a bin in outside of the house that we have just we keep the drawstrings up so that we can throw the
Pine
wipes
snake?
and the gloves and we just
Right.
zip it up and take it out to the trash real quick.
Oh
That's
my
what people
goodness.
do with me.
Pine
They say they want to do with me anyways. Take them out to the trash. What's going on, Pine Snake?
Oh, what a time to come into it then. Every time.
Jen's dying from aerosol. Well, if the Aquanet hasn't killed me in the last 20 years, I think the Lysol's safe.
They still make Aquanet?
Yes. Hold on. Wait a minute. I'm going to get that.
Did you not
Hold
see?
on.
No.
Did you not see a comment from about the 18th century?
But you're hilarious, by the way, there, Sir Thomas Lipton. He wants to come on a stream and talk about tea. What kind of tea?
By Jove.
SHI?
Let's say, by Jove, that sounds splendid.
By Jove.
Spiffing. Spiffing is a term. Spiffing.
Only in Canada. Oh, no, that's Red Rose. Sorry. Only in Canada, eh?
I can't wait
Tea.
till Neil invites me back on so I can unload on the people that tried to force religion upon me in the hospital.
Hold on, this is YouTube, not Pornhub.
It's still too.
Not that kind of unload.
Oh, okay.
Still the old school purple can. It never changed. It hasn't changed in 40 years, 50 years.
Which one's that?
Aquanet.
Oh my God! Yeah, my mom used to use that.
I
Yeah,
still
but it's
use
no
it.
longer CFCs. There's no CFCs in that shit anymore.
No, and it's the only thing that'll keep my hair that doesn't make me break out. That's the
Really?
only fucking thing that doesn't fuck up my skin terribly.
I don't use
You
hairspray.
have rosacea or
It's
In
just the
fact, there's a question. Is that the only environmentally friendly policy that Trump hasn't rolled back? The banning of CFCs.
yeah, I think yeah.
No, you don't
gonna
need
be,
hairspray.
Otherwise, it'd be Make America Spray again.
Have you seen the cops he's bolstering? We're already there.
Oh my God!
Irish sweet.
Hey, if Bob Barker was our president, it would be Make America Spay again.
I know. You know what? I'm down for that. I am for
One
that.
last letter.
I am for that. Okay.
Irish
for
sweet.
that.
You're
Yes, sir.
mentioning earlier that you're an economist. I'm wondering if you've noticed a distinctive difference in the economy since Bitcoin became popular and other cryptocurrencies like it.
Okay, cryptocurrencies are out of my specialty, and
I'm not asking you to talk about cryptocurrencies. I'm just wondering if you've noticed an impact on the economy in general
No,
since that. No.
the
Yeah, there's more
economy.
idiots.
The black economy, yes. So black markets, the ability to be anonymous for certain product, Silk Road and such, that has sparked. There's a couple of great papers on that, and I'll have to go back when I get access back to my work files because I'm on disability right now, obviously.
Sorry to hear that.
Well, when you go through open heart surgery, you tend to be on disability.
That
Oh,
is
I think I saw your picture online recently. That's you. Okay. Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
You're the guy that got his chest cracked open. Okay, gotcha.
So now, there's some great papers about how that has affected the market for backroom marijuana, some other illicit activities. But as far as the ability, and for porn, to be frank, that's one of the areas that is affected too. But again, beyond that, there really isn't a great use for it because it's too volatile. $1 today, I can pretty much tell you it's going to be worth between 99 cents and $1.01 tomorrow. A single Bitcoin, I have no idea what kind of service I can buy from it tomorrow. So for me to sit back and say it's going to be anywhere near, it's not. Until the value stabilizes, it won't be worth anything as far as the greater economy is concerned.
Well, so this is what's holding a lot of the big investors back, you think, is because of the what it looks like instability.
So, and I'll parlay this into a larger, like, why is the stock market doing as well as it is, even in the midst of all this bullshit?
Yeah.
Is volatility and uncertainty are the enemy of investing. So, well, not necessarily volatility, but uncertainty.
Yeah.
And uncertainty breeds sell-offs. It breeds, exiting the market. It breeds a lot of things that are negative for the market. Well, there's a lot of certainty in the market today. There's a lot of certainty in what the Fed is doing and what, there's a whole bunch of programs for liquidity, what Congress has been doing. And so the stock market's doing just fine, even though none of it is real. The earnings that we're going to get sorry, I'm a little bit out of breath.
That's okay.
In August are not going to reflect the prices of the stocks that will be selling at that time. We're going to see multiples like in the 1999 range where Cisco was trading at 66 times earnings, because earnings are going to fall so far, so fast. And this gets into what if I had an hour with Hector to talk about consumer behavior and what this COVID situation is going to do to how humanity views its consumption, it would be an amazing chat, because are we going to continue to consume less because we realize we don't need this shit?
Well, I suspect some people probably will, because 21 days to form a habit, it becomes a habit for people to kind of get used to this. I'm sure that's going to happen. I guess the big question is how much of it is what you're asking. Yeah.
Yeah. Are we going to see it on a scale large enough where businesses have to readjust what they provide, what they produce, and how they pay people, and then is 20% unemployment the new norm because nobody's consuming enough? We don't need the production, so on and so forth down the line. So there's a lot of dominoes to fall in that type of analysis, and it's going to be really hard. But it's, I think our ability to cope with the economic impact of what's going on is going to take a lot of time for us to understand how our current psyche as consumers gets played out in the future.
Wow. So basically, with prices dropping in stock markets in the future, it's going to be a lot of shorts laughing at the longs for a change.
I don't know that we're going to see that much as far as prices drop. I don't think we'll see deflation. The Fed has basically opened up its checkbook to create as much money as it needs to end any deflation, because in 1933 and 1937 and in 1931, deflation is what caused everything to go down shit creek.
Okay. They don't want that to repeat, obviously.
And obviously they're taking that as the lesson. And to pull that back, they're basically saying any liquidity. So the Fed is even buying high yield bonds. The Fed does not do this.
Yeah.
So they're basically stepping into every debt market and saying, we are the buyer of last resort. We will maintain liquidity and price stability. And that goes into the certainty that you see in the stock market prices and the bond market prices is, okay, there is a buyer of last resort. Liquidity will not, get into a 2008 range. So
I don't remember that, but sorry, referring to the comment to say buy crude oil.
Yeah. Well, and the crude oil thing was fine. You could buy as much, or get paid to buy as much crude oil as you wanted, but where were you going to put it? That was the whole thing, was crude oil still had value, but it cost you more than the value of the crude oil to store it for 3, 4, 5 months.
I know where I can store it if I can get some.
And that was the problem. Was everywhere that had storage was full. You know, Cushing, Oklahoma is where most of the U.S. Deliveries get made, and they were basically paying people to take oil away because they couldn't store anymore. But the oil itself still had value.
So you had every redneck in the county with barrels of crude oil in the back garden.
If they could, they would.
Whole scenario with the big oil war between Russia and Saudi Arabia.
Well, that explains why Trump's having a hissy fit at Germany, because they're no longer buying Saudi oil; they're buying it from gas from Russia instead.
Yeah, because Russia.
That
Yeah,
explains a
okay. They're these are two completely separate things. The price you pay for gas at the pump is completely supply demand oriented.
Okay.
And also taxes depending on your government and stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay. But it going from $2 a gallon down to $1.50 would have nothing to do with what's going on in Saudi Arabia, because of the amount of time it takes for a NYMEX barrel, that price to translate all the way through. Now, eventually it will, but generally it's like the daily price movement is not going to be, because Saudi and Russia interests are going at each other. Now, but you go back to what that happened with, and then all of a sudden you have a complete rollback in demand, and then a burgeoning supply. And part of what caused the negative oil price was the Saudi. That was the impetus that started the whole slide. And then you add in the COVID situation where nobody's driving anymore.
Yeah.
So nobody needs to refine anything anymore. So you have this just giant stock, and there's nowhere to put it. So it was a perfect storm.
Wow. Interesting.
Everything seems to have been. I mean, honestly, when we look at 2020, right? When we came into 2020, and shit started happening. Did any of it? Did you look at any of it?
This has been going on long before 2020.
No, I mean, but in the way that 2020 is going with COVID and murder hornets and
riots aren't a big
riots,
deal. Relax, guys.
You know, and riots,
bushfires in Australia,
bushfires,
which are still raving.
Like, did any of you turn around and go, "Yeah, I saw that one coming next"? Like, did anyone?
No, of course not.
No. Okay,
I didn't.
Okay.
Well, Jen,
race
didn't
relations, I kind of did.
Well, yeah,
because we've been in a quiet period as far as race relations for a long time.
No, in the media,
compared to the 80s and early 90s.
No, we haven't.
Like if you went down to Miami and that area,
I grew up in New York City in the 80s and 90s. No, we haven't.
No, but in the media, it's not been a huge issue. Yes, there was a bit over Colin Kaepernick and a few other isolated
No, but I'm
incidents.
saying I'm definitely been seeing.
But the riots haven't been where they were.
Ferguson, New Orleans. Yes, they have.
On a personal level,
I
you've
don't
seen
think they have been on this on the frequency.
Yes, they have.
There has been, I persuade.
There has been a race riot somewhere in this country once or twice every year for at least the last 3 years. There absolutely has been.
Last year it was 3 trans people of color in Texas, in fact, and there were minor riots then as well.
Mm-hmm.
All within 6 weeks.
This has been this kind of
Nostradamus here saw it.
Yeah, Nostradamus over here. Fucking Nostradamus over here.
I'll be right back, you guys. I got to deal with something.
Yeah.
Where I'm probably wrong in this, Jen, is I'm trying, like, when I go back to my history classes, what I saw in, like, Miami burned for 180 days.
Ferguson burned for a week.
For
it's
15
been
straight years. I mean, Miami was a race riot for how many years in a row? And we don't remember that.
I just think it's a case of it's not as publicized as much.
It could be it too. But however, I started really becoming aware of it in the 80s. It was in the 80s when New York City started to ask questions with the crack epidemic and people rising up with that. So 80s.
And then you've got the Bloomberg Times as well.
I left during Bloomberg.
It was happening then as well.
So I want to say since 86, maybe 87, I cannot think of a year where
Ooh,
there was not some kind of racial uprising. I can't think of one.
It would be
somewhere
interesting
in
to
this
go
country.
back and like look at the severity of the riots and see how.
Severity doesn't matter.
No.
It keeps happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's happening.
Or by severity, I think I meant length. Like how long was it extended
but to
out?
me, length doesn't account for anything. It's still happening.
When you're looking at the length, there's too many factors that could come into it. It could be that the people who were in power in that particular city, state, whatever, sat down with people and says, look, what are your problems? What can we do to help? Which depends on how long it then lasts. Whereas if you've got someone that's absolutely inept, like your current president,
frustrated atheist makes a great point too. Texas has been a race riot for quite some time. Every year there is some sort of racial or political uprising in Texas. Every year. People
in fact,
often
how many years on Twitter has Black Lives Matter actually been running?
And
as a
what a lot
hashtag?
of people
It's
forget,
every year.
political too. The 04 RNC. I got arrested during the 04 RNC New York
That doesn't
City
surprise me.
demonstrations. I was one of the ones arrested and held at Chelsea Pier. This went on, I want to say it was anywhere between 5 to 7 days that this went on. And it got violent. We had rubber bullets thrown at us. We had gas. We had spray coming at us. They were arresting civilians just walking down the street. It got violent.
Well, then I'll amend my statement to a media quiet period.
Yeah, definitely media.
Yeah.
I will say, growing up, I remembered the LA riots. Granted, living in New York City, the Crown Heights riots.
The thing is, back then it was a case of, and to some degree now, it wasn't a case of it was advertising a protest. It was advertising, look, this is why the police go hard on it. And then they left out all the things leading up to it. Now, with social media being so much more installed in everyday life, you can't deny the reasons for the leading up, which is why most news outlets ignore it.
I will say that there is definitely a major difference in reporting from the Crown Heights riots and the LA riots back in the early 90s to now. There is we were always showed, especially, and the Crown Heights riots were really fucking interesting because it wasn't people against the system, it was people against people. For those of you who don't know, Crown Heights, Brooklyn is kind of divided into two sections. One section is very Orthodox Jewish. The other section is Black and Latino. And Orthodox Jewish communities tend to hardcore stay within themselves. And they're separated by literally like a block. Like, here's the Orthodox, because that's New York. We don't have room to space out any further. There was a Black child who was hit by a car driven by a Orthodox Jewish man, and they have their own private ambulance company. And the child was dying on the ground, and the privatized Jewish ambulance got to the scene first. And because this child was not Jewish, they did not take him to a hospital, and the child died. But they instead took the Orthodox Jewish man who had minor injuries to the hospital. Their statement was, well, we are a private Orthodox Jewish company. We don't transport those who are not Orthodox Jewish. This is what the New York City EMS and fire department is for. There were
to which I respond, but human decency.
There were riots in the streets for days over this, and it largely stemmed from, in a way, it was systematic because New York City does put very heavy favor on Orthodox Jewish communities when they absolutely take advantage of the welfare system. They're known for, they take advantage of 501c3 statuses for being nonprofits. What they do is they erect a small temple to their houses or hold services in their basement and then qualify for 501c3s, and then they're not exempt. Mothers will not report that they're married. They won't get married. They won't report the fathers. They qualify for Section 8. They qualify for food stamps, collect on this, and then these landlords will collect the Section 8. But this is all within a family while being a 501c3. So nothing is taxed. They keep their own schools. They're very insular. to the point that they have now caused measles outbreaks and were refusing to let the city come in and check their kids out. So this was years upon years of everyone else in New York City feeling like we were being placed below this community that was taking advantage of. And then once this happened, it hit a boil. Now, mind you, this was, I believe it was either late 80s or early 90s. So this was also during the crack epidemic and when crime was at an all-time fucking high in New York City as well. So it was this powder keg, and it for days. They rioted in the streets of Crown Heights for days about this. And I believe another Jewish man was killed over it.
Well, you're talking about how there's parallels between now and then. I saw an image on Twitter earlier about Minneapolis. I thought, bloody hell, I recognise that. There were a group of people going in a shop doorway, this time under a hail of rubber bullets and gas and all sorts. Went on internet, and with the exception it was a hose, it was just like Birmingham back in 1964, wasn't it?
And now they're calling it the National Guard. Tennessee National Guard has been now alerted to be mobilized onto Nashville tonight. Donald Trump has threatened to take over the National Guard, to have them come in, which is which we know as martial law. We saw this with Kent State. We saw this in Alabama. This is nothing that's anything new to us here.
Georgia as well.
Georgia, yeah. This is nothing that is new to us. And the reason the frustrations are building and building is because we've done this. We did this 50 years ago. And, we had the civil rights movement, and we were told that all of those efforts that did happen with the National Guard, with people dying, with police brutality, with all of this, we were told 50 years ago, well, now we've put systems in place, and yet people are still dying. So they're like, well, why did they die then? What did they fight for then? But in the other respect, since that time, they have been told, well, we gave you the Civil Rights Act, and why can't you just be peaceful? Why can't you just be peaceful? Why can't you just be peaceful for the last 50 years?
The thing about the Civil Rights Act, it's not Equal Rights Act.
No, and
it's like, we'll give you this token rights, but we're still going to put things into place which keep you less than equal.
For 50 years, they said, well, we've given you this, and be peaceful, and do this, and do that, and do this, and do that. But we go back in very recent history and say, the last time we rioted, we got the Civil Rights Act. Is this what we have to do? And it's something that I wanted to, because I've been seeing it a lot lately, of why do people have to loot and everything else? For one, we are now finding out that a lot of these looters and a lot of these rioters are not locals, and they are white men in white supremacist groups. I have gotten word that many Bugaloo boys have left the organization because they will not participate in inciting that people are trying to organize. That's one. Two, I sat down with a friend of mine, and we had talked about rioting and looting and stuff like that. And he, black man, and he had explained to me that they've tried voting, they've tried petitioning Washington, they've tried donating to causes that work in favor for them, and it hasn't worked because we have these big box corporations funding into super PACs and funding these super right conservative candidates, these causes. So what can they do? What power do they have to take back? They can hit those massive corporations and take the profit that's paying for this system away. This is the only kind of power exchange that they have left to control.
It's because we haven't been listening to them.
Yeah, but it's interesting that Jen says about corporations being hit and how there's Proud Boys and stuff like that there. Because if you've noticed, it's only the companies that Trump has lashed out against, for example, CNN, that are getting hit.
Wait. CNN was not the target. CNN was not the target in Atlanta. The one of the major Atlanta downtown precincts is in the CNN building. CNN was not the target. The precinct
why deface the CNN logo then? the 20-foot logo.
It's just a matter of what was on the building.
Right.
It's defacing the
Because-
building. It's a matter.
Because someone,
It's and
Yeah, but-
CNN also rents the space to the Metropolitan Police Department.
So it's to
They
pressure
own
CNN to stop doing
Atlanta.
that. So it's basically to pressure CNN to stop doing that.
Yeah, CNN owns the building, and
Atlanta's
they
not in
rent out.
California, is it?
No, I'm talking about the Atlanta one.
No, though, I could be entirely wrong and confusing two situations, but I'm pretty sure it was one in California.
I
No.
know about the CNN building in Atlanta where the studios were.
I may have the wrong one.
Yeah, that's Atlanta.
Because only Windows was smashed and assigned defaced. But someone said it would be interesting if Fox News or any of these others like Chick-fil-A's are ever attacked.
The reason
Which would
why
make sense.
the CNN building was attacked was because the CNN studios weren't the target. It was the police precinct. But that's not something that they're reporting.
And
No
that
way.
I'll retract my statement until I'm more information anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
what Jen says makes sense to me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Jeff Holiday put out a pretty good piece on what was in that building that they were going for.
I remember I had friends on the ground and I'm like, yo, why the fuck y'all going for CNN? Like, their journalists were just arrested. They're like, no, we're not going for the studios. The police department's in there. And I was like, oh.
Oh, Neil, you better get a link to Frustrated Atheist before he gets too frustrated.
Yeah, he might get a little.
I think
Yeah,
he wants to talk
Rory
about
said it. They were
Texas.
throwing bricks through the windows in Atlanta. It was the CNN Tower building in Atlanta. And that's not something a lot of people know, is that there's a police department in the building. That's something like they don't really advertise that. They don't advertise that they rent space to a police department.
Would you?
Yeah, I wonder why.
But I've never remembered seeing a journalist get arrested on live TV either.
It happened at TYT Network about 3 years ago.
It did. It did. But I mean, for one of the more major networks.
BBC have had a few arrests. ITV.
Really?
Didn't the TYT have an issue with Alex Jones one time? They had a big fight in public or something?
Oh God, who
That
hasn't had a
one's
big
right.
fight with Alex
Cenk
Jones in
Unger and
public?
Alex Jones went at each other.
Who hasn't had a big fight with Alex Jones in public at this fucking point?
You know, if Alex Jones was running for president, he'd probably get elected because he's a popular guy. What do you think?
I don't know. Are the
I
trans-dimensional child
would rather
molesters voting?
sleep with Jordan Peterson than have that happen. That's what I think.
Hey, I'm just gonna say this: if he became president, he will eat your ass.
Well, then
Okay.
maybe somebody will. For fuck's sakes, I'm, you know.
And he'll make a policy about gay frogs.
Turning the frogs gay.
The frickin'
on.
frogs, he said.
First off,
Won't you
Although-
fight for your life?
can I address something? These are not protests. These are riots. This is a rebellion.
Yes.
This is a rebellion.
You know, Jen, from up here in Canada, I've wondered why this didn't start sooner.
It did.
guess-
It happened in 17 odd with
Oh.
the Boston
No,
Tea
but
Party.
it's-
But I
Fuck
think
off
with-
with that
It's
rest
been
of
this,
the
and
protest
that's the
riot
thing,
bullshit.
and I
Who is it?
get,
George
I
Floyd?
get, no,
George
but like
Floyd
I
is the turning
get,
point here.
I get why people are like, why didn't it happen sooner? And it's like, it's not being reported, but it's been this slow boil for so long, and it was very much like how to us the Arab Spring just fucking happened out of nowhere, right? Like the way it was portrayed in the media.
And do you think the death of George Floyd, I hope I'm getting his name right, is
George
probably a major turning point?
But I think what compounded that was we're in a time of COVID where our leadership is failing us and we're dying. We're cooped up, we're unemployed.
A lot of factors.
We're cooped, and I think this was this kind of perfect storm. I would like to ask Meek and Pure, what do they think is the difference between a riot and a rebellion? What do they think is the difference between a riot and a revolution?
Purpose.
235
We don't-
years of mishistory.
Hold on. We don't want justice or peace. Now,
So the thing is I do have something to say here whenever someone
Go
asks
ahead, 'cause
about.
I'm trying to formulate my thoughts to where I'm not going to wholly lose my fucking
Okay.
shit because I respect Neil way too.
Yeah.
Fucking.
So to answer answer Randolph's question about why this hasn't happened sooner, the thing is it, depending on certain areas, it's not that it hasn't happened sooner. The thing is it hasn't stopped happening.
Yeah.
So, like for instance, I live in Texas. I live in one of besides like Georgia and Mississippi and that,
Alabama
we're
too.
one of the we're one of the biggest racist states, if you will. And I was actually I grew up in a time frame where, thank goodness, I wasn't brought up to be racist due to the fact that I have, my dad's side of the family is Mexican, and my Mexican aunt married a black man, and they have black, half Mexican children. I grew up kind of in a somewhat multicultural aspect of things.
That sounds so
the
Canadian.
thing is but
It's very New Yorker. Is what it is.
Sorry, I just need
But
to
the thing
jump
is-
in a second, Russ. Meek, in 1775, it changed hugely.
Can I just address that real quick? They're burning down businesses and looting. That's violence. They burned down tea in the Boston Harbor. They burned down buildings and they burned down businesses during the suffragette movement. They burned down buildings and they incited violence. I shouldn't even say incited violence. Violence was incited upon them for Stonewall. They burned down buildings during the civil rights era. They burned down buildings popped off. So you please tell me it's never been about George Floyd or racism. Then please tell me, in what world in America do you see riots popping off from Black people that has to do with racism? Because at least we not forget when a white man riots for a sporting event, it's not a riot, it's an unrest. So please tell me when it has not been about George Floyd, racism, or a systematic fucking means of oppression that is keeping people of color in this country completely fucked.
So going back to what I was saying just a little bit ago. So I grew up in a time frame though that not but maybe a good almost 4 hours away from me, in a small town called Jasper, Texas, in the 90s, whenever I was very young, when what was happening was
I'm sorry.
Was the fact that
I need to step out. I need to
go ahead. Go.
Yeah, thank you. And I love you. I
understand.
want to hear this. And you and I want to sit down and have the story with you one night, but I need to.
Frustrated Atheist, do you want to can you put that on hold till she gets back? Because we can talk about something else in the meantime.
Well, I mean, I can. I can put that aside by going back to the fact when we were talking about the Revolutionary War. The thing is if we all remember, so the way this all started, of course, was everybody knows the whole entire taxation without representation. We had a government that was telling us that we had to pay X amount of tax. And whenever we ask, why are we having to pay this extra tax? We're told, mind your fucking business. You have to pay it. And we said, peacefully, we don't like that. So, whenever they said we don't give a shit.
Just before you go on, Russ, that's a misrepresentation because America had more representation in Parliament than the British people did.
We were still told that we couldn't, though. And
before,
and most of that taxation was to pay for the 7 Years' War.
Yeah, which was agreed to before Britain took control of most of America.
Huh.
Sorry, Russ.
Well.
Oh, it's good to have clear.
Well, I'm always happy about being corrected. I say this all the time. If you feel like you need to apologize for correcting me on something, please don't, because I've told this several times to several people. I'm just a layman. I don't I know
Oh.
what I can remember.
It's
And
not
there are
you,
certain
Rust. It's
that I remember better than I do.
This is something I
that old-
really, really like about this community of people is that people are willing to be corrected. It doesn't turn into some horrible fight or people taking it personally. People actually want to be making sure that they're not wrong about things, and everyone welcomes correction. It's fantastic. So thank you for that, both of you.
And it's a telling thing of all history. I think as far back as we've actually got it recorded as humans, it is the victors that dictate what history is.
Yeah,
True. That is another fair
example-
point, because growing up, whenever we're younger, we're told about taxation without representation.
Yep.
And because we're told about taxation without representation, we get this idea that, what this was is that we were being taxated for things without our actually say so into it.
Yeah,
But,
what I've heard, what the revolution was really about was the Enlightenment really went against the monarchy, and the big names of the 1770s was what drove to try and break away from a distant government trying to rule over a distant population who in a way that they didn't agree with. That's kind of the 30,000 foot view.
Plus, by the time that the 1775 came round, not many people remembered really the 7-Year War. So they didn't fully understand why they were still paying taxes
Who's this
to the
meek
faraway
person
government.
There you
in the
go.
chat
So
there?
Prick.
what? So anyways, to go back to this whole entire what I was going to say, because that's only part of it. Because the other part was the fact that what ignited most people's willingness to involve themselves in the Revolutionary War was the very first Battle of Concord, where we always heard about, where we here in America heard about the shot heard around the world, where there was civil unrest between the British soldiers and the colonists. And what ends up happening is, this is where it kind of gets a little muddied, because there are some accounts where they said that somebody from the colonist side threw the first punch, if you will, and then the British soldiers returned with fire, and that's what caused an all-out war between the colonists and the British. And then everybody else was kind of like, okay, let's get into this shit. Another account is more along the lines of like, it was more or less kind of like, egging each other on until finally somebody snapped.
Yep. And there's even discrepancies on who shot first.
Yeah, because in some accounts I have heard that the Americans have. That the colonists
the gentleman that died, the first, the freed slave, I forget his name, and I'm kicking myself for it.
Is it? Oh God, first freed slave.
No, the first person to die in that was a freed slave, and I'm forgetting his name, and I'm going to kick myself when you say it. But he's accused.
I can't think of it either.
His killers are accused of being redcoats that shot him from the front. However, an entry wound in the back of his head and an exit wound in the front of his head doesn't go for that narrative. But had he turned around and then he was shot and then he span round and whatever. So there's a lot of it which is questionable information based on the victors deciding what the truth will be.
Of course, and I'm a very big firm believer in the fact that there's the victors do write the history books. I mean, if our history books were written by the history of
Crispus
World War II,
Atticus.
What did they say?
You're thinking of? The freed slave.
American Revolution. I think it could have been Crispus Atticus. There's a whole series of it, but that's beside the point anyway.
Yeah.
I see. I pulled up the chat here, and I see Meek and Pure said, if you want justice, you don't burn down business and loot. You fix policies and change laws. Well, the issue with that here today is that we've been doing that. The civil rights movement has been trying to do that. We've been doing that exactly, and it hasn't worked. So, and we've started to. It's gotten to the point where we've ran out of peaceful solutions. We sit there and we tried the one.
How many NFL players need to get fired for taking a knee before the laws are changed? Mahatma Gandhi said he was a pacifist, but if you don't take up arms when you need to, you are a coward and not striving for change. Yes, I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah, so
even
the thing
pacifists were saying it needs to happen occasionally.
Yeah, I mean, it's like one of those things like with take Sergeant York, one of the most famous pacifists there was. He was a conscientious objector during World War II, and he did not want to fight whatsoever. But whenever it...
Whoops.
Good point, Ocean.
Yep.
Well, you're frustrated atheist. Your audio disappeared. I like Ocean's comment.
Yep.
What do you say, Meek and Pure? It seems that you're unfamiliar with the past 70 years of advocacy on this issue. Yes,
How can violence
right.
lead to changing laws and policies? Just look at the history of mankind. You had the riots of Rome in something like 30 BC.
Hey, Jen, I asked him to put it on hold till you came back because you said you wanted to hear it.
I do want to just address everyone here. This is a really sensitive topic for me. One, from growing up the way that I did and how that I did, and being able to see it firsthand. And I have a friend who was taken unarmed by the NYPD. So if I am promising now that if I do find myself getting a little too emotional and having the emotion come over the rational side to discuss this, I will step back, take a breather, come back to it.
Yeah. Well, this meek and pure person has been dealt with by my moderators.
Okay.
Thank you, moderators.
Thank you, moderators.
Thank you, moderators.
They clearly don't. They. My guess is I heard someone else talk about this where somebody was white-splaining the whole thing about black folks and how they've been basically oppressed, their pretty much entire existence here. So, yeah. Yeah, until you've been in those people's shoes, you can't know.
I've been having some weird activity on my Facebook to where people who are in no way connected to me have been commenting inflammatory things on.
I saw that.
Yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised if I'm on a list somewhere and they may be following me around to come in and cite.
Yeah, I've had a few people following me as well.
If my Facebook account wasn't disabled, I'd be there to try to help you out, Jen.
It's that, and I'm known for being very supportive. I donate. I purchase supplies for protesters. I've been listening to scanners. I've been keeping up with people on the ground. I've been exhausted the last few days, to say the least. So
me too.
I'm sure my name's been floated around.
So would you like me to continue with what I was saying?
Yes, please.
Yes,
thank
please,
you.
Ross.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you for putting that on hold and waiting for me. I really appreciate that.
That is not a problem. That's not a problem. So, during the 90s, I was a child, but during the 90s, one of the biggest issues that we had was, of course, the small town of Jasper. Now, for those who aren't familiar, Jasper is a town in Texas that's kind of close to the border of Louisiana that is notoriously known for being very racist. During the 90s, I'm not talking about just sit there and like people yelling out, go back home to Africa type of things. I'm talking about these are kids who, just because you're black, these kids would throw a chain around your neck and drag you behind a truck down a dirt road until you're dead. Like, this isn't just,
And
we're
that
not talking
happened
about
in
just
Jasper. That
Yes.
did happen in Jasper.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, we were not talking about just some subtle type of, I don't like their kind of racism. This is racism to the most extreme, to where you're killing people. And people had enough in Texas, to the point to where it got violent. It got violent all over Texas in different areas.
Yeah, what set that off was James Byrd Jr. was a black man in Jasper, Texas, that was dragged to death behind a truck. And if I'm not mistaken, he was hung up on a fence afterwards. Or was that that was Matthew Shepard?
What the fuck is wrong with people?
Was that James? Was that both of them, or was that just Matthew Shepard? That was hung
the thing is Jasper is known for doing this with a lot of different people, because this even happened in the early 2000s with homosexuals. There's one guy who was gay, who these guys found out about it and beat him to death, dragged him like they did with the blacks, and eventually they strung him up onto a fence, and all because he was gay. And so this isn't just a, one-off type of thing. This is something that constantly happens. So if it did happen to the gentleman you were talking about, then I would not be surprised, because this is a common occurrence in this town. I don't know how it is now, because even to this day, if I have to go over that way for any reason, I don't drive anywhere near Jasper, because it's bad enough I have to drive through another small town that's very racist called Vidor, which is also known for racism. And I mean, hell, even my hometown of Santa Fe, which we all know more recently because of the Santa Fe high school shooting. Back in the day, I mean, this is as far back as even the 80s. The KKK used to have this as a headquarters. I mean, you can look up the Dragon's Den of Santa Fe, Texas, and you will come up with an entire entry on Wikipedia, wherever, about
the Grand Dragon that went on Jerry Springer from there.
Yeah, so I mean, this is a town that from even the 70s, 80s had a sign that, sat there and said, welcome to Santa Fe, N-word, don't let the sun set on your black ass. So, racism was prevalent all throughout the area. And, I mean, even today, you can still see the marks, the effects of racism, with the fact that the town of Santa Fe. Now, yes, there are black families that have moved in there now.
Yeah, when they're so open about it, and when they're so open about it, they have it on the welcome sign, some kind of horrible humor like that. It really shows how ingrained and how deeply it goes. It's an indication that it is a serious problem.
And
I don't think that was humor. I think that was saying, don't stay around after sunset.
It was a warning.
It was a warning.
That's all it was. It was a warning.
The riots that had happened I shouldn't say riots, the uprisings that had happened after James Byrd Jr. in Jasper is what led to Barack Obama reevaluating and redesigning the hate crime laws.
So this isn't, so whenever we talk about why hasn't this happened before? The thing is it has happened. It's been happening. It's just that we have people so far up that just don't give a fucking shit about it. And this is the most frustrating thing about this, is the fact that we have these people who are saying we're suffering. Look at us. And we have an entire upper echelon of people who are just turning their nose up as if this is something far below them, and it pisses me off.
Even if you had a reasonable president that, as Jen said, Barack Obama rewrote the race laws.
Well, he didn't rewrite them, but he did push for them to be modified, cover more.
You had a half-decent president that wanted to push this. If you don't have the lower and upper houses of government also on the same playbook, you're going to have nothing. The minute you've got the lower house that might just be able to push it through,
but
your
it's
upper house,
a little
which is the
different
Senate,
too.
is it? Mm-hmm. Is it the Senate? There's no way they're going to let it through. Half of them are bigots.
But it's a
At
little
least
different with
half.
that too, because when it comes down to modifying or enacting the Civil Rights Act, when it comes down to modifying or enacting hate crime laws, this has to go through the Supreme Court. So our justices have to sit in on this. And this is why it is so important to look at a candidate's voting record and who they tend to lean more towards. Now, because yes, we have a
And
full
you've got
bench
two of them put in by Trump.
And
Two
right,
got
and
put in
so
by
and
Trump,
now
you've
we're
got
kind
Trump.
of listing into the more conservative aspects of it. As of right now, we are actually waiting for the Supreme Court's decision on modifying the civil rights laws to encompass the LGBTQIA community because they were not originally included. And this is now what we're arguing is, do the civil rights laws also encompass sex and gender and sexual orientation?
Because 29 states can still discriminate against you.
And
based
there
on
are cases
sexuality.
stating it's not found in the Civil Rights Act that this covers sexual orientation and gender identification. We are now
And what
arguing
goes
that.
even further,
That's
just
so
going
backwards.
further onto that thread,
That's
you've got
shameful.
I know.
Well, you've got statutes in some states. I
But
can't remember
mind
exactly
you,
how
we
many.
have
Where you've
a
got
justice.
trans panic. You got trans panic is a legal defense for killing a trans person.
Yeah.
But
in some
we
states.
have a justice right now that said there was no way that Congress or the Supreme Court could have predicted in 1969. I'm sorry, 64.
64.
It was 64. 69 is when Stonewall happened. A mere 5 years before the Stonewall riots, they could not predict that people were going to fight for their rights on sexual orientation and gender identity. We literally have a justice on the bench right now that is trying to argue that when the Civil Rights Act was enacted, we cannot make a decision on this because when it was enacted, there was no way that they could predict that eventually this would lead to sexual orientation and gender identity.
It's just amazing that a group of people has to be specifically mentioned for them to have rights to be who they are.
And IQ, I'm going to challenge IQ here. This did not. Can we highlight the Popeyes comment from IQ just so everyone knows what I'm talking about? This did not happen with a damn sandwich. This all happened with a gorilla. It all happened with a fucking gorilla, and it all went to shit.
It happened with a gorilla and a meme.
It happened with a gorilla.
Right
What's
after
the
the
gorilla
gorilla, there was
eating the chicken sandwich.
And when my grandchildren come to me and go, "Hey, Grandma,
how did this all start?
It
was all that damn gorilla's fault."
I'm gonna sit them down and go, "You see, kids?
Oh,
there was this gorilla."
I don't mean to interrupt, but I just hiccuped.
Oh,
and that hurts.
Do you have a pillow? Okay, so I've never had my chest cracked open.
Yes, I have a heart pillow, and it's 2 floors up, and I don't. know
I was gonna say I've had my abdomen split open a few times, and I know that laughing and coughing and hiccuping helps when you put the pillow on there. So I don't know if it might help on here.
It would, but sorry.
Do you have anything that you can?
You don't need to apologize, man.
No, you don't need to apologize.
I'm bringing out my inner Canadian. Sorry.
Irish Tweed does Uber offer that service where they'll go and get it for you?
Here they do. It's called Postmates.
Well, they'll come into your house, go upstairs for 2 floors.
Oh
and
no,
get
they
your
won't
pillow
come
and bring it
upstairs.
down to
You just
you.
have to go.
I could text my wife, but she would probably just laugh at me.
What is this?
It's the gorilla.
That's not a gorilla.
That's not a
gorilla with eyes lighting up.
That's an orangutan.
That's an wow! Holy shit, Neil, that was awesome.
Yeah, that is.
That is an orangutan.
And if it's an orangutan, does that mean it's Trump?
Orangutan.
Oh, no.
Oh, that's an orang.
All I know is
I can't.
Orangutrump.
Oh fuck! No, I'm trying to put orange and orangutan together. My mouth is just not cooperating.
Orangutan.
All I know is dicks out for Harambe.
Wasn't happening.
Yeah, Harambe. That was the name of the gorilla. That's right.
Harambe. That's I'm gonna. My grandkids come to me and it's my son.
You're gonna say it all started with dicks out for Harambe.
No, it all started with is it Brad Pitt? With that movie with him with a gorilla?
No, you're thinking of Rampage. And that was actually Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
No, way before then. It was like 90s or something.
What Brad Pitt movie did?
Was it Brad Pitt?
Brad Pitt.
No, are you thinking of Mighty Joe Young?
Maybe.
No, Brad Pitt wasn't in that one.
Years. I haven't thought about Mighty Joe. No, wasn't that Brendan Fraser?
Yeah, I think
that's
so.
it.
Why do
Brendan
I remember
Fraser.
that? I remember
Brendan Fraser is the guy from The Mummy.
I knew Brendan Fraser would end this world.
1998 film, Mighty Joe Young.
That's the one, yeah.
Yeah, it was Bill Paxton, Charlize Theron,
Oh, Bill Paxton.
Paxton. That
Mika Burim,
is the bringer of the end of the world. I don't give a shit what anybody fucking says.
Naveen Anders.
Makes these movies that fucking come true, goddammit.
Vern Troyer's in it.
Whatever happened to
Boy,
him?
yeah.
He died.
He died.
That's the way he died.
Oh,
Yeah, we're only about 4 years ago, wasn't it?
really?
Yeah.
That's the last time
He
I
was
remember
mini-me, right?
Yeah.
Mini-me,
Well,
Yeah, he was a mini me.
the last time I
You know,
remember
you know who his next door neighbor was?
who?
What's his name there? Oh shit! What the fuck's his name? Hey, buddy. You know?
Pauly
Oh, you're talking Pauly
Pauly
Shore.
Shore.
Oh, from California, man.
I will still, if a Pauly Shore movie comes on, I am watching that bitch. Son-in-law, fuck everyone. I'm watching.
Steven Tyler
Wait a minute.
PJs. Steven Tyler PJs.
No way, man.
Yeah.
Fucking Encino, man. He was the best in Encino, man.
Well, what was that?
Ow, my pancreas.
Remember Biodome with him and that the
Yes.
The Baldwin dipshit.
Yeah, Stephen Baldwin.
Fucking
Stephen
terrible
Baldwin.
movie.
I got absolutely nothing of the DNA left over from it.
Some rubbish.
I love that fucking, and I had that son-in-law haircut and that hair color for years after that.
Son-in-law was funny. That was a good one.
I had that very same haircut and that same hair color for fucking years after that movie. I was like, that is just so rebel. I'm just gonna do it. And yep, I did it. I did it.
No, you take the juice.
The only trendy haircut I've never had is the Rachel. That was the only trendy one.
Oh, the feathered layers.
I had
yeah.
the Rachel.
You had-
No, I'm kidding. I'm totally.
Shit, look at your hair. That was the only trendy one I never. I did the Posh Spice one where it was like super long in the front and then like really, really short in the back. I did that one.
Oh my goodness.
And I-
That's the
If
I
there
want to
was
speak
one
to your
to me.
manager haircut.
It is all from the Posh,
Trust,
but they shortened
trust Jen to have a Karen haircut.
I had the Karen haircut before it was a fucking Karen, and we didn't poof ours. So the Karen haircut is the short, and they have just very two.
All the gorilla movies.
Oh, that's all, right there. We have all the gorilla movies right there. The Karen haircut is very up bumpied, and it's got the two longer pieces in the front. The pot,
L'Oreal.
Because worth it you are.
the pot started off really short in the back, and then it progressively got longer to like until the two pieces were here, and we didn't do the.
I used to work in customer service. I'm well aware of that haircut.
Oh,
I had the chili bowl. Whenever I was a kid, I had the chili bowl.
Yeah.
and
yeah,
the
my mom
Posh
used to
Spice
do that.
haircut wasn't super highlighted like the Karen is. Like
Yeah,
that.
there you go.
I mean, I lived in New York City, and it's like, well, fuck, we have every trendy hair salon in the goddamn country there.
I had a mullet once.
I can see you having that.
No, it was in the 90s. It was a
I was
bad
gonna
thing.
say, like,
He's got it now. That's why he's always got a bandana on.
probably.
Oh,
I
bite
know.
me.
Seen it, yeah. Like,
Fuck you, Ian.
A
really?
friend of mine had an Irish Mohican. We just got a razor and went like that, and all this was long.
Yeah.
He had it for about 3 years. He loved it.
That had a name? I didn't know that there was a name for that.
Irish
There
Mohican's like
might be.
reversed.
I
Some
have
dudes
no
take
idea
it
if it's
to an
got a
extreme
name.
and put the sides up instead of the middle, right? They shave the middle
Yeah.
and
That was like the
put the
reverse
sides up.
Eagles then.
That's what they do
Yeah,
to
that's
hockey
what-
players here for hazing and initiation.
You
They
guys,
shave down the middle of the head? Oh,
Yeah.
man.
you guys remember the flock of seagulls hair, right?
Oh, yeah. With the big fucking beak thing that came out of the front. Yeah.
But it was like, it was never the beak thing that
Oh
fascinated
my
me.
God! Stop.
This,
please.
it was that,
Yeah. I remember that shit. Yeah.
and I'm
Yeah.
like, if
They were
if,
the first to do anime hair, basically.
if Deck Hair Gel ever had a fucking clip in time, it was the flock of seagulls haircut. And y'all remember the
Oh my
Deck Gel was
God.
like yellow and pink, and it came
Yeah.
with giant clear fat, and that shit. Fucking Hurricane Andrew couldn't fucking move Dep Gel. You fucking threw that
Oh,
shit on
God.
into Aquanet. You didn't have to get your hair done for a year. You fell asleep, you woke up, your shit was good.
Oh, I'm afraid of this one.
I
Fucking hell.
that have hair like that. I'm
Yeah.
not kidding. Like
Bigger the
Kelly
hair,
Bundy
the
hair.
closer to God.
that's the Italian mom hair. Yes. Oh my God. That's how did you know
That's the dolly.
How did you
Karen to Ethan.
Oh, Kristen's brilliant. That's hilarious.
How did you know the Italian Catholic mother's secret? The bigger your hair, the
I'm married
There
a
you go.
Catholic.
It'd be Karen Alders from now on.
I didn't know the Karen.
Ooh.
Although I have had some questionable highlights that could be very Karenish. I have had those.
I used to do highlights.
Like
I'm married
Mostly
a Catholic.
purple and
It was-
weird burgundy colors.
She was now a self-described cultural Catholic, so
No.
she knows all of the old sayings of
So-
the Catholic side.
Neil said highlights, and you know what I'm remembering? The 90s, where all the guys had that like slightly spiky hair and they
I
frosted.
have no idea what that is.
Oh, the
Jesus.
frosted
No,
tips.
fucking
That-
hell.
That's what
That
you
was
find
boy
at
band.
Fashion Week. You find that shit at Fashion Week. And
You
like,
find that kind of stuff at Walmart too.
thinking
That's a
of
crazy ass hairdo.
Walmart by me. Yes. And yes, there is a cultural differences in Walmarts between states. Like Tennessee, it's not that bad here. It's really not that bad. They're semi-normal. But holy shit, you go into the Kentucky side? I thought that like the people of Walmart website may have been like Photoshop.
No, it's not.
No.
It's real deal.
And
if
I
you're ever in central Iowa in Des Moines, there's the Walmart on 8th Street that is just known to be.
That's creepy.
I would do that. I
Yeah.
would legitimately do this if I had thick enough hair for it. I would do it.
You should turn that into a fundraiser, Jen.
That hair?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my God. I would totally do that. I
I'll
mean,
send a picture of it to you in Twitter so you have it so you can do that.
extensions to do with me because I would need way more hair than I have for it. It would definitely take extensions. Yeah.
All right, Kristen's going to bed. Good night, Kristen.
Good night, Kristen. Thanks for your humor.
So put it like this. A friend of mine, we were both Army wives at the time, and she found out her husband had been cheating on her. She was like, I'm divorcing him, and he was overseas, and it was a big fucking mess. And we're sitting there in her house eating Waffle House. She's just feeling like shit about herself. And she goes, want to go to one of the Kentucky Walmarts so I can feel better about myself? That, in essence, is Kentucky Walmarts. Let's go to the Kentucky Walmart to feel better about myself.
I'm guessing Paducah.
No, further south.
Paducah.
Further south.
Sorry.
Further south. Go further south. No, Paducah's the nice one.
Oh,
There's a nice
That
part.
word, that word just reminds me of like Mortal Kombat. Paducah. Instead
Hadouken.
of Hadouken.
We're gonna
Paducah. Paducah.
do that again, like because Paducah's pretty close to where I'm at. I'm never gonna read
I thought Hadouken was Street Fighter.
Street Fighter? Or maybe one of those two.
Yes, it was because
It is Street Fighter
Yeah.
because it's done by Rue, and he goes, Hadouken!
okay.
Yeah, that's it. What the fuck was that?
Somebody, this is Texas, so it's somebody showing off.
Next in 2020, Godzilla.
Doesn't sound very impressive.
It's not.
Like, oh shit, 2020 just got fucking real. Godzilla showed up.
You know what's
Yeah.
impressive
Godzilla
is
showed up.
That'd be a
When-
relief
when-
about right now.
when you get your chest cracked open, that last hour that you're intubated, they leave you awake and aware.
Ooh.
So you are there with the tube down your throat and everything, and they're talking to you, and you're supposed to respond with hands, but your hands are tied because your fight or flight response is gonna instantly make you want to like grab everything
out.
and rip it out. So
They keep you awake with that?
yeah, for about an hour,
Oh my
for the
God.
last hour, and you're awake when they pull it out.
Oh boy.
Oh, that sounds great.
So
It's
here's the
not
thing.
bad.
Here's one of the things though. You don't care because the amount of morphine in your system, you just don't give a fuck.
I don't get that benefit. I can't have morphine. I'm like violently allergic to it.
So,
Oh, that
Get that
sucks.
option. Like, I don't get
but yeah, I was on morphine drip till let's see, Saturday night was finished until Sunday morning.
Yeah, I get Toradol. That's what I get.
Yeah,
Here's some fucking
Jen,
Toradol.
I'm surprised they don't give you a metamorph where you just talk about giving you morphine.
Oh no, they talked about it. Oh, they've talked. So I have.
Another hair one? Oh, goody.
You guys were talking about Karen earlier.
Oh no, that's not Karen. That's Sophia.
Ow, ow, you evil person. Ow, stop making me laugh.
Sorry, man.
That is fucking false. But it's in my medical chart that like I pass out, I break out in the hives with opioids. The hospital that I had my son at, they didn't give a shit that they gave me morphine after my C-section. So that was fine. You know, just gave birth, and now I feel like I'm dying from the fucking opioids. That was fun. But that's Tennessee. Oh, you're allergic? We don't care. We got to push this shit out. Get it in there. Get it in the veins. That's
It gets even worse if you have to have open brain surgery, because for that you've got to be awake.
I'm not even listening because I will pass the fuck out with my anxiety with that because I will get the visual. I will turn sheep.
Well, it's actually really good. Honestly, it is. There's this
Well, they do
famous
local.
banjo. Well, yeah, but with this one fellow they couldn't. So he's a professional banjo player, and he's fairly old. And for whatever reason, they couldn't give him these things that normally knock you out. So they actually hypnotized him. And throughout the entire surgery, where they're fiddling around in his brain, it was playing his banjo. And he needed to do that to make sure that they didn't hit any nerves or anything.
Because they have to keep you talking during brain surgery to make sure to keep you awake.
So he was singing, he was talking, he was playing his banjo. And yeah, I would just fuck that.
Brain surgery is one of my, you know what, fuck it, I'll die. Ones I'm sick, fuck it, I'll die. Because if I have such bad anxiety with medical shit that if I have to be awake and I know they're cutting into my brain as I'm awake, the anxiety's over and I'm going to be absolutely
I'm sure they'll give you something for the anxiety.
I think they would probably give you some drugs to calm you down first.
Ketamine didn't. Ketamine didn't. Like I was freaking out so bad about getting my C-section that they gave me ketamine. And even then I was still freaking out. And my anxiety's like, haha, bitch, ketamine, I'm the boss of anxiety. I am the final boss of anxiety. Fuck your ketamine. It's like brain, I can't do needles and I can't do cutting in. So I'm like, diabetes, brain shit. Fuck it, I'll just die. Fuck it, I'll just die. Nope, I'm good. Fuck it, I'll die. Nope. I couldn't do it.
With diabetes and the injection you get for diabetes, oh fucking hell. Isn't it just like an EpiPen where you don't actually see the needle?
No, you have like syringes and stuff to do, and you have to like tie. A lot of people have to like tie off, and it depends.
Oh, so you really are in the 18th century.
Yeah,
then.
if it was just like one of these things, I'd be fine.
That's what it is in the UK.
Did I ever have a VBAC? No, Rory, I only have one child. I was lucky I had him. I was lucky that my body carried him. Fuck you, Rory, by the way. But I was lucky that I had him. I was lucky that he was as well as he was as early as he was. So
There's been several times I've had a food baby.
I have one.
Every time I go to the washroom and I leave the bathroom going, whoa, it's a boy.
But no, I never had a VBAC. I only had one child. I had my hysterectomy when he was 6. I was 6. I want to say he was 6. It was right after he was.
Without being too personal, do you have endometriosis or something like that?
Adenomyosis.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if you. So everyone kind of knows what endometriosis is. It's when the lining goes outside. Adneo is when it embeds in the front wall of your uterus and grows into the lining, and it misshapes your uterus. And because it thickens that wall, it actually implantation becomes a lot harder, and viability with implantation becomes a lot harder, and it's wildly painful.
I was just curious why you had a hysterectomy so young. That's all.
Yeah, I was.
And that was the obvious answer.
Yeah, I wasn't functional for like 2 weeks out of the month. Every month, I wasn't functional. It was that bad. So I was like, hey, I actually have someone that's here that can help me out around the house and take care of the kid, and fuck it. I mean, I got really fucking tired of being tired, and it's leveled out. The first 6 months sucked because I kept my ovaries, and when you bang ovaries around, they're not happy. they are. My face broke out. I gained weight. Like my whole body freaked out afterwards. And I go to the doctor and I'm like, Doc, what the fuck? This is supposed to do this. And he goes, oh no, we totally smacked your ovaries around a few times. They're really not happy. They're going to be pretty pissed off for a while. I was like,
thanks for the heads up.
Yeah, thanks for the heads up, Doc. It's like, there's a pinprick scar in my face. That came from a cyst pimple after I'd had my hysterectomy that had just gotten so inflamed and drained that there's actually a scar now from it. Like,
wow.
It was bad. But afterwards, they told me, they were like, so your back's probably going to hurt. And I'm like, my back hurts every fucking day, but okay.
Nothing new.
The way that they do it, it's a machine. But they have to hang you upside down in this like twisted position in order to do the hysterectomy. So this is some like Bride of Frankenstein shit going on. like they strap you sliding off the table as you're upside down and like bent fucking sideways. And he's like,
that can't be comfortable.
I was knocked the fuck out. I don't fucking know what the hell happened.
It's more comfortable than living with the illness.
Yeah, like I
Yep.
I remember being in the back for the prep. I kind of remember being wheeled down the hallway, but not really. And then I remember waking up in the recovery area. That was it.
So I was fully aware, awake, everything, all the way into getting positioned on the table. I remember the mask being put over my face. And I remember pushing it off and saying, get me back to my boys. Mm-hmm. And then I remember the anesthesiologist going, you're going to go to sleep in 9, 8, and that's it. Every time I've been under anesthesia, it blocks out a good chunk before for me. Every time. It's happened every time with me. And I'm one of the people that cries when they wake up from anesthesia. Like I just violently cry for no fucking reason. So I get up. And damn it, I'm still alive.
Like, fuck. So I get up.
I got to continue to put up with this shit.
God. So I get up and it's not, you're not in the individual recovery room. You're in this like area curtained off, and I just start violently crying. So they all come rushing back with all these drugs and pain, and I'm just like, no, I just do this. There's no reason. I'll stop in like 10 minutes. I'm sorry. And they were like, why is she crying? Is she okay? And I'm like, I'm fine. Like I violently
I couldn't see after I woke up for a few hours until they got me into my, I have no visual memory of waking up until they got me into my room. And then I remember seeing my wife and my sister-in-law, who's a surgeon, and for obvious reasons couldn't be involved in the surgery. But that was it. And they allowed my wife in for about 3 hours, and then they kicked her out. And then I had to be alone for 5 days.
Oh,
wow.
See, I always wind up with breathing. Like, always take. I remember when I had my first uterine biopsy, they were like, "Oh, it's like an hour and a half, 2 hours," and I don't remember what time I went in. I don't remember what time it came out. For me, it feels like 15 fucking minutes. I'm like, fucking a minute out, right? Apparently, my ex-husband freaked the fuck out because it took them close to 4.5 hours with me because I have a tendency to stop breathing on the table. I'm one of those people with anesthesia that I have a tendency to just like either shout breath, or stop breathing altogether. So maybe that is why I'm crying. Maybe I'm just
never had any issues with anesthesia because when I went in and they had to go in through my pee-pee, to figure out whether or not I could donate the kidney. So they had to go in and scrape. And they knocked me out there, and the guys say, you're going to count backwards from 10. And I think I said 10, and that was it. I was out. And then I woke up and I was like, hey, what's going on, everybody? So I've never been a big...
I never remember the count. Ever.
For me, I always have to end up giving more. They're usually surprised that I'm still not out. They had to up the dosage.
And there are people that have woken up during surgeries when they're...
I do that when I had my 4 wisdom teeth removed all at once. I decided, I'll just get them all done at once instead of going on separate sessions, because the fewer times you do anesthesia, the safer it is for you.
Yeah. But I remember when I had they, right before they're like, this can happen with anesthesia. We may have to give you more. You can wake up. And could you imagine waking up on a table upside down and crooked with this giant, what was called
my anesthesia.
Right? I had what was called the Da Vinci machine. And it's this giant fucking robot with 2 arms. that goes in with surgical tools, and the doctor sits there on the screen and he plays fucking Mario Kart with my uterus. It's fantastic.
I like Mario Kart.
Very
I don't
good
know.
description.
He plays like simulated surgeon with my fucking uterus. So can you imagine waking up in that scenario? Where you're
Yeah,
up
Can you imagine waking up with
Yeah.
your chest cracked open? Yeah.
It happens more often than you'd think. I mean, all these idiots that have been abducted by aliens, it happens to them every time.
Oh my god, I hate you. I hate you. I hate you.
I'm sorry, Irish.
I hate
Oh my
you.
god, poor Irish. I ever wonder about that though. Like,
I told you not to come on my streams until you were able to handle this.
yeah, oh fuck, I wouldn't have come on tonight had I known shit. Sorry. Especially me and Pine Snake together are fucking terrible. We are fucking awful.
Just wait until Duke changes his work schedule again.
Wait,
Until who?
Duke.
Oh yeah. Duke.
Duke. Yeah, I haven't seen Duke in a while.
He's on a really weird schedule right now.
I've not even seen him on Twitter.
Yeah,
Has he been banned again?
impossible.
Nope, not bad. But every once in a while, I'll get a text from him.
Possible.
Hope he's doing well.
Yeah, he's doing well. I have no idea what
Can I?
the hell is this.
It's Mario Kart in real life. Watch.
Irish, don't watch.
Jen mentioned Mario Kart. That's why I had to put this one up for you.
A guy driving.
There's stuff falling over at the right.
There's a video of a guy driving.
I'm sorry, Irish, but I don't know what's funny, the video or your reaction.
I hope he'll be okay. I hope this at least speeds up his recovery. Oh boy.
What,
I think
like
he's
ripping
dying.
stitches out of his chest?
God, do not kill somebody. Thank you. Just wait.
Tomorrow's headlines: Man dies on YouTube.
Don't talk. We need to give him a break. Just nobody talk. Okay, just stop.
No, I hope the doctors
I'm
didn't.
good.
I hope the doctors warned you about the internet.
There's this guy that's driving, and he's got his camera up like this, and he's filming himself.
Hello, John.
Hey,
John
John.
Anthony.
And in the background, you just see this car go like this, and it's like driving in Mario Kart when you hit the banana, and that's exactly what this fucking guy looked like. This guy's just like, yeah, and this poor guy behind him was like, he threw a fucking banana back there, and I'm just like, how do you not stop? You're seeing this.
One of the funniest memes I've ever seen is this just mangled car, but the back bumper has got a sticker that says, "Jesus, take the wheel."
And that's what happens when he does.
That's one thing
Jesus,
that I remember
you're not taking the wheel next time.
very much
Can I
was
tell you guys about-
everybody up to going to surgery was very like, oh my God, there's a plan. There's, God's with you, blah, 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 like with the ambulance
no.
driver and everything like that. After I got out, not a single nurse, doctor, nobody brought up any religious anything. And it was,
they did.
it was so nice.
Me, when I went to have my, oh my God, that was a viciously ugly. What did they say? Globular is how they described it. Globular.
Lovely.
It was a evil, nasty. Actually, my Xbox tag for the longest time was evil uterus until I got rid of it. That was my Xbox tag forever. Not that wheel Jesus.
You bastards. Have you seen the poor man's in agony?
All right, Randolph, no more memes for now.
Okay, I'll stop.
Randolph, you don't have the healthcare you have here. This isn't fair. Stop that.
Now his
What do you
loss
guys
is
think?
your fault.
Should I do the last little bit of my gummy worm?
You can stay completely still for 10 minutes and scare me again?
No, I'm not going to say. That's when I ate an entire one. That's over 100 milligrams. I'm like, that was a mistake.
Doctors use the term globular.
Sorry, John, they use flatulence. That's all I have.
I think globular is better than flatular.
Yeah. But no, what do they describe it? Boggy and globular. That's how they describe my uterus. And I was like, oh, it's me in a uterus. That's nice. That's
It's a great Nirvana album.
What?
John Anthony's asking an interesting
in
question.
uterus?
In
John
utero?
Anthony's asking a good question about flat earthers there. He's wondering if flat earthers use the term globular. I've seen them use the term globists.
Well, yeah. I mean, they say we've got members of in the flat Earth, whatever, all around the globe, and I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah.
No, they say all around the world, and it's like, hold up.
around the world.
Hold up, wait, let's or there was one we have them on it was around the world, and there was another one that was like the four corners of the earth, and we're like
Corners.
But if they say it's
Flatulate the Earth.
yeah,
No, don't do that.
but they say it's a disc. Like they never say it's like a square, and I'm like, oh fuck, not only is it flat earthers, but now the shit's a fucking square. Jesus, I can't keep up.
Oh, that's the Bible says that, four corners.
Does it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
somewhere in there.
It's been a long
It's in
time.
like Jeremiah or something like that.
It's been a
Yeah.
long time since I've sat and read the Bible, because I'm not that atheist.
I saw a meme of a picture of a woman. She's like wondering, a man with discs or a man with
Balls. You can say balls. It's okay.
I did.
Okay.
Now I'm mentally figuring out how that would work with discs.
I would probably try not to do that. I would.
Yeah.
No, this is how my brain works, and everyone's kind of come to know that it's always gonna be that kind of thing that Jen gets.
Words go in
When
your
it comes to
ears,
flat earthers,
and
it's
then
best
your
not to
brain's
think about
like,
their
let's
arguments.
figure this shit out.
David.
But like you guys
Just
know
right here. Bible says the Earth is a
Snow globe.
that no. According to Game of Thrones, we live inside a giant's eye. That's where it is.
A giant's eye.
Yeah, that's why the sky is blue.
Is it
That was a myth in the A Song of Ice and Fire. It's one of the stories that Old Man tells. Is sky is blue because we actually live inside of a giant's eye. Yeah.
Oh.
But like even A Song
That
of
doesn't
Ice
explain
and Fire,
7 years of winter.
goddamn world was round, motherfucker. You fucking figured it out.
The thing is, the flat earthers often put up Norse mythology as evidence that the ancient world believed in a flat earth. The thing is, it's bullshit. It was just poetic licensing to describe things.
See, I can't sit with flat earthers enough to know why they say. I just can't. It's one of those. I'm gonna lose my shit, and I'm gonna leave. Okay.
Sometimes I'll ask them, is it round like a pizza or round like a sphere? And
They get really confused, don't they?
yeah, that's fun.
Damn it! Now I want a fucking pizza.
See, I suspect about half of the flat earthers are only joking, the other half are serious. The problem I have is I can't tell those two groups apart.
The thing is, at least half of them know it's not true, but now it's a cash cow for them that they're able to earn money off it.
Oh,
Like your Mark Sargents and stuff.
I haven't had the chance to catch it yet. How did that debate go?
With Darth Dawkins?
Yeah.
Well, it was more. I was expecting it to be more of an interrogation, and I'm okay with that because I don't mind the challenge. I quite like it. I thought it went all right, but MathPig was the host moderating, and he went really hard on. Well, he was going by the name Duncan Atheists that day.
Yeah.
Drunken atheism.
Yeah, Duncan Atheism. Thank you for correcting me. And so, usually with Darth, it doesn't. The conversation with me doesn't go very far because he has a lot of trouble pinning me down because I don't use a justification for not believing in deities, and so I think he enjoys the challenge too. And I find him to be quite okay to chat with, but I know most people don't like him, and so MathPig ended up getting him to swear. And I've never heard him swear before.
Have you not?
He said, "Go F yourself."
In that case, you've got to.
Wait, Randolph.
Yeah.
You did the rite of passage into atheist debating. You made Darth Dawkins lose his shit. Congratulations.
I didn't, but it wasn't me. It was MathPig who did that.
In that case, you need to look up a channel called, I think it's Dawkins Greatest Hits or something like that, Darth's Greatest Hits. And there's one on there where he made two 13-year-olds cry. But that wasn't until after they'd frustrated him so much that he was swearing at them and calling them all sorts of names.
He's such a dickhead. And what is
he's an asshole.
But when he was
debating now?
but he-
Did I see that correctly?
But I think Atheist Pastor did a lot better than I did. Thank you, David Worley. I appreciate it. And I was very happy with how things went. I also learned from it how I can improve. So that was very helpful to me as well.
I like that.
But what
The
happened?
thing about
Atheist Pastor, boy, he was on a little while after that with Darth. And so Darth asked him initially his position, and then he said, "Oh, he converted to Hinduism." And he tried to throw Darth, but I was impressed with Darth. I think a lot of people underestimate his intelligence. Darth was turned out to be well informed on Hinduism and started asking all these technical questions.
Oh.
And then Atheist Pastor had a little trouble because he was just joking, and then he finally confessed he was joking.
His pants with it, yeah.
So
Well,
I think
the
Darth
thing is,
really studies
yeah.
stuff.
The thing about that one, he were asking these technical questions, but they were also non sequiturs because they weren't actually related and weren't accurate towards Hinduism. It was just a pantheon from the Middle East, which could have been Sikh, Hindu, Buddhist,
Right.
and it was actually not well thought out. It was well thought out to ask the questions, but
Yeah.
it wasn't informed about the specifics.
Okay, well,
Darth has.
I don't know a lot about Hinduism, so it's okay. I'll take your word for it.
Well, I only found out after the fact. So
Okay.
Yeah, and the thing is Darth has his own little script, and the thing is he'll incorporate. He sits there and has run these scripts so often that he will sit there and find other religions to incorporate into the script. And what he then does is, if you say, "Oh well, on this," he goes, "Oh well, here's some non sequiturs that is what this religion believe." And if you just so happen to say, "No, that's not what I believe," then he goes, "Oh, but it is." And the reason why he does that is because he wants you to follow this script, so that way you can sit there and see that what you believe is nonsense, and that you should actually believe what he believes, which is in the Christian God through all these different little scripts that he runs. And the best way to see this was actually if you go to Modern Day Debates channel and see his
No thanks.
his debate with Red Venture. Because Red Venture, he's very well versed in in philosophy, enough to be able to actually stand on his own with Darth.
Oh yeah.
And there's one part.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's one part where when Red Venture sat there and said that whenever you get into this certain field of philosophy, that certain things like laws of non-contradiction don't necessarily follow anymore in these certain realms of philosophy. And he's talking about these realms of philosophy, and Red brings up the fact that the laws of non-contradiction do not work in these realms. And so whenever Darth tried to run his script on him, he sits there and finally he sits there and he goes with him for a little bit on the script. And then whenever he hits this one certain part, he goes, "Well, see, this is where you're wrong because of the law of have you ever heard of the law of non-contradiction?" And he's like, "I just fucking brought that up to you, Darth. Are you fucking stupid?" And so it just got crazy because he sat there and would not follow his script. So Darth just sat there and got busily angry. And so what he told James was he kept yelling at James. He's like, "I thought you were going to bring me a serious debater, James, but here we are. We have a child."
Oh my god!
I thought Red Venture's performance was excellent. I think he did very well.
That's the thing about Darth. If you don't follow his script, he just resorts back to ad hominems.
That's why he won't debate me. Because
time.
I won't debate him on the topics he wants
Oh
to
no,
debate
Jen,
on.
he won't debate you because you're a woman.
No, you didn't.
No, he debated
He
Shannon. He debated
Yeah, but
Shannon.
he sees Shannon having a weak mind.
Oh
He
yeah,
thinks
not
that she
only
is
that.
weak.
Not only that, but whenever Shannon wouldn't follow his script, he
wants
sat there and
to
calls
shit.
her the same thing.
Yeah.
Psychobabble and all that.
You're trying to
shit.
psychobabble me.
I guess this means that his Jedi mind tricks won't work on Jen.
He tried. He offered. He actually came into an after party, or him or one of his minions, and presented it to me.
Exactly.
And I said, "Yep," and called
Shannon Q did well. I liked the way she dealt
really
with
well
it
with
too.
that.
And
But
she
I
laughed
said,
at
"Okay."
him too, which just cracked me up.
T-Jump has an interesting approach with people. He's very gentle and easygoing, and I like.
I love Tom. He's great.
I appreciate that he's good at debate, and I just can't deal with it. His mannerisms just great, me. I can
No,
listen to
well,
it, so I can be off doing things. I just
But
can't
the
watch
way
him.
that he like
I have my issues with Tom.
does something else and like wholly doesn't give a shit about who he's debating, I can see.
I
how
like Tom.
he processes it.
Well, the thing is at one point in time, I do. I mean, on one hand, I do like Tom, but the thing is there's certain parts of the way he debates that whenever he goes to say something, it's hard to without having a debate in mind at the moment. But
One with
there's
Red.
just these, huh?
The one we read.
He
He had a debate with Red Venture about cancel culture and whether it's
Oh, did he?
actually effective. Yeah.
Oh wow, yeah, I
And his-
vaguely remember that.
His relative aloof demeanor and almost condescending attitude in certain aspects, I can't watch it because of the way it's sat. So if I'm listening to it, I can generally deal with it. But I
Yeah.
have to be off doing something.
Yeah, I can. No, Darth came into here, and this was shortly after I had stated that I don't do apologetics, I don't do anything like that, and then all of a sudden he was all over me. And he came in here, and one of his
Of course.
like, Darth wants to debate you, and I said, okay, fine, but these are the stipulations. It's going to be on a social justice or political topic, and secular arguments will be made.
I remember that.
You remember they just left. Like nobody fucking spoke ever. And ever since anytime Darth and I crossed channels, he
That
stopped
didn't
talking.
take long.
Oh, that one.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'll have to take a look at that.
No,
it's
it's not up anymore.
no, it's not. Ethan took it down.
But yeah,
It was pretty fucking funny though.
any time that Darth Dawkins is anywhere near me, he stops talking now.
Yeah, generally me as well.
Oh, Jin, you took on a tarot card reader?
I massacred a fluffy.
Yeah.
I didn't take on anyone.
And they ran away crying.
I massacred Fluffy Bunny is what I did. Yeah.
What exactly happened? I need to hear this.
So she had been pushing pseudoscience and bunk science pretty much the whole show. And I'm bringing contradictions and I'm bringing other points and counteracting this. And she was wholly ignoring or being super evasive. So, and like, you all know how I get when people are being that evasive with me and they think they're being fucking cute. And it was very,
I don't know what you're talking about.
no, you have no idea. It was very gish gallopy, and she spoke really fast about everything. You could tell she was get to confuse it, and that was pissing me off. Because I'm like, bitch, I'm a New Yorker. Talk as fast as you want. You won't fucking beat me. I catch it all. So
John's commenting about it now in the chat. He says, it was thunder. Yeah, there you go. Wow.
You say what?
It's a
I
thunder.
like Rory's comment.
It was a Thunderdome level beatdown.
So she offered to do a tarot card reading for anyone.
Oh.
Okay, bitch.
What's this one here?
Oh. I fucking love it. So the thing is
It gets but wait, there's more.
okay.
Now I know tarot card readings. I do them. I do them as part of to show people how they get cold.
No,
warm
me
with.
too.
You do too?
Dude, really? I haven't shown you my cards. I have like 2 decks. I have a dragon deck and
Oh my god, no! Oh my god, that was
If I
Okay, now Jen's
thing
gonna
is-
do a Thunderdome level beatdown on Neil. You just wait and see here.
well the thing is the thing is why he's getting that. The thing is I know the sort of the technique of the cold reading and all that good stuff.
yeah.
If
of
I
course.
knew what each card meant, like as
Oh, I'll
far
tell
as
ya.
the vague meanings of them,
I could
then I could do tarot card readings like nobody else.
I can
Let me
also
split
do
for
it with
this.
cards. I can also do it with playing cards.
Thomas,
I come in and
Thomas has got a good video about
Neil's a
all that
pro.
cold reading and
He's
stuff
kind
on
of
it.
brushed it off and everything.
I know. Look at which ones do you have?
The black ones by the looks of it.
You guys get to debate all the fun things. I'm an economist.
Yeah. Oh god.
Yeah.
Oh, those are cute. They're like Celtic.
Looks
Thoth.
Christian
It's
almost.
the Aleister Crowley deck, the Thoth deck.
Is that them? I've never actually
Yep.
seen them.
Oh, they're beautiful.
I
the
love
artwork is
tarot
fucking
cards. They're
beautiful.
absolutely beautiful. I love the artwork in them.
Yeah, the artwork looks very nice on a lot of them.
Neil, if you want a good deck, get the Mary L Tarot deck. It's absolutely
I know the Marielle.
it's beautiful. I actually
There.
oh
That looks cool.
I actually
Okay,
got
the greatest
So if you
card
get-
art. I'm going to make an argument. The greatest card art ever in anything was the Magic the Gathering original Icy Manipulator.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yes.
I've heard that.
Actually got Matt the Mariel Tarot deck for his birthday to use in his magic show.
That's cool right there.
So real quick, with the tarot cards, do they come with like a packet that'll tell you what the cards
Oh,
mean?
yeah, they all do.
Yes.
You can look
They
at-
all come
Okay,
with it.
good.
So,
Well, in that case, then I could do tarot card readings, no problem.
so before I had come on,
Anyone can.
stated that she already pulled the cards, and I knew she had stated this. She said she had already pulled the cards, which one was dishonest. She never asked me what kind of reading I wanted. She never asked me what level I would be comfortable with. She automatically read for someone that hadn't given her full consent details.
And the hangman hanging from an ankh.
So that was dishonest for one. So I get in and I'm just sitting there, and she's like,
Death.
she goes, I'm going to give you a past, present, and future reading. And I said, now, before we do this, I'm going to ask that you not make general statements like you've had a hard life, you were in an abusive relationship, this, and that. I said, I'd like detailed statements. And yes, I was rather condescending when I said that. I was absolutely a condescending person.
Was this over the phone?
No, it was on YouTube.
Oh, okay, so it was in a
What's the
chat.
more
It was
cards,
actually live chat thing.
Yeah, it was live chat. She said that she could do it without reading my face. So I was off camera, but I was speaking.
Yeah, all your tarot card decks come with one of these, like a little book explaining on how they work.
So
Okay.
she instantly, now I will admit I was a condescending fucking cunt and I shouldn't have come out that hot from the gate. I'll admit it. She gets instantly fucking hot. And she's like, well, you're just too closed off. I can't read for you.
Too closed off.
Oh,
yeah.
of course.
Yeah,
Because you said you will not accept vague readings.
mind
I
you.
thought you'd already done the reading. I thought she'd already done it.
No. Mind you, the cards had already been pulled. So there was no way that she could not have done this. And I'm like, no, continue. I'm just asking that you not make general statements and please don't give me textbook examples of what the cards mean. I instantly was too closed off and I'm too hostile. And I was like, no, go ahead. And you know me. This bitch is pushing 4 clients and yelling over and over. And I was like, no. But go ahead, do what you're gonna do. Go for it. I was like, this is what I asked. And she's like,
Do what you're gonna do.
what you gonna
I
do?
love that.
These are a lot of fun.
The I Chings are fun.
Yeah.
So she's just getting more and more hostile, and she's like, "You're too closed off." And I was like, "No, I am a skeptic on this, and anyone who is a skeptic on this is going to be closed off about it. They are not going to be this free flowing, love connecting bullshit." And well, I'll be more than happy to read for a skeptic. I said, "So how can you not read for someone that's closed off? If you know the person that's going to be skeptical about it is going to be closed off." I said, secondly, you already pulled the cards. There was no connection made whatsoever, which goes for your bunk ass fucking plants have connections shit that you were fucking spewing earlier that I fucking called you out on. You're full of
Plants have connection. What does that
I'll
mean?
get into that in a minute. But I fucking ate her alive. And then someone in the chat had mentioned it looks like you're looking for confirmation bias. And I mentioned that. I said, no, I said, what it sounds like here when I did not ask for vague statements and all of a sudden I'm not open is that you're looking for confirmation bias. 2 seconds before that, she goes, I'll read for anyone else. And as soon as I said that, she goes, I just can't do this. I'm too upset and leaves the fucking stream. Because
So what's this about plant connection?
she cited a fucking bunk crystal pseudoscientist that
Of course.
did this experiment with plants where plants that you talked to nicely grew better and plants that you talked to in a mean tone didn't, and how people who were happy and touched water crystals made really pretty crystals, and people who were angry and touched water, their water crystals were fucking ugly. Now this scientist never replicated his findings, and when somebody turned around and said, hey, can you do it in a controlled environment, he refused.
Of course.
Yeah, there were another one that said plants have aura because they got some like infrared imaging of a lot of trees and stuff, and there was this aura around them. Never mind, they'd done it at sunset in like Texas or something where it's red hot, so it was just the heat escaping.
What I had argued with her was when you are coming into something intentionally wanting to be mean or intentionally wanting to be nice, your subconscious level of care shifts. You are going to care more for the thing that you feel more cared. You're going to be more cared towards. She ignored the fuck out of it. She wouldn't
Okay.
touch it.
The plant thing without all the woo. The plant thing, I don't know of any studies that have done speaking to plants, but I do know that plants react to music. And there have been multiple studies done on that. They will react.
With exchange of molecules or atoms or some shit.
No,
it's
nothing to do.
Vibrations, probably.
Yeah, it's vibrations.
Yeah.
Plants are actually, they have a degree of sentience. They actually realize when their relatives are growing around them, and they can communicate through the root systems with the plants that are around them.
Type of thing in it.
Yeah, well, it's all chemical. Obviously.
Yeah, not specific pheromones, but yeah.
And I'll give it to Ocean because I had put Ocean onto this. I'm like, this is one of your motherfucking people. This is one of your fluffy fucking spiritual fucking I shove fucking crystals in my fucking asshole while I get off to my fucking jade egg fucking pagan bitches.
Wow.
Fluffy bunny.
Tell us how you really feel.
I hate these fucking.
So it's funny because so this is whenever me and my ex were together. We went to a Renaissance festival and over here in Texas, and one of the ones that come here. And there was this lady who was wanting to do the tarot card readings, and in my mind, I already know this is full of shit. But the other half wanted to do it, so I was like, all right, fine, whatever. So we did one of those couple readings, and they sit there, and she said something about how she said something along the lines of how I'm not happy at my current job. Now, I'm not a scientist or a big reader of people, but if you'd see somebody at a Renaissance festival in a Walmart T-shirt and some ratty old boots and a baseball cap that looks like that it should have been thrown away a long time ago, needless to say, you're probably working at a job where you're probably not happy at.
Right.
And so I said, yeah, I give the normal answers of the, confirming yes. I didn't really give her anything, but she's like, you're not happy at your job, and then she flips over in the card and she's like, it's because of money. Well, I'm not a scientist. But if you're at a job that you're not happy, either it's going to be because you're not making the money that you want, or because of the people around you. I mean, these are the normal things. So I said, yeah. And she's like, it's going to cause issues. And it's like, no. In my head. And so whenever we left there, my significant other was just like, how does she know all these things? And I'm like, because these are all vague.
It's generalized statements.
These are generalized statements about people's well-being and things like that. These aren't anything like, you don't have to be a freaking rocket scientist.
All right, like I had made no qualms that I was single, so it would have been really easy for her to have been like, you were in a bad relationship. Kind of shit. The doctor
thing is,
even if you're in
a current relationship, anyone can say, "Oh, you were in a bad relationship."
Yeah. The doctor that did the plant experiments and the ice experiments is Masaru Emoto, Emoto. If you guys want to read more about it, and this fucking whackery.
I just had somebody follow me. Jalaluddin is the name. Jalaluddinov is the
Paladinov, got it.
No, Jalalal.
Yeah, Paladinov, got it.
I only follow what is inspired to me from my Lord.
Oh, I love those. Who did I have?
Oh, yes.
Oh, what was his name? Oh, my God. Wait, let me pull this up because this was the most what the fuck follow I had ever had.
All right. I think this has got to be a troll account. Or
the most religious. The most religious account you should be following is Pastor Alex.
Oh my God, he's hilarious.
He's hilarious. I like that guy.
I love Pastor Alex.
Wonderful.
I think he follows me. I think he follows back too.
I have to disagree. The most religious account that you have to follow is Tweets of God.
Yeah, he's good too.
Good. Do you remember anybody remember Caps Lock Christian?
Yes,
I actually got blocked by Caps Lock.
What?
What did you do? What did you do?
So the thing is I followed him because I saw, his tweets, they were hilarious. So I followed him. And he followed me back. And, I sat there and chit-chatted with him, and he, said that I was a great Christ follower and yada, yada, yada. Well,
Yeah.
we all know who Peter is. Well, probably some of us going to go for it.
Yeah.
Well, Peter,
He's a good guy.
Peter came across him, and he absolutely loved the account. And he sat there and told him, he's like, look, I really want to have you on the show,
Definitely
on our show. Yeah, he was definitely a parody account. And so Peter was like, okay. But Peter was like, I definitely want to have you on the show. Would you like to be on the show? And Caps Lock just kept going off about how he's not going to be on the show or whatever. And Peter kept, trying to push him to come. And Caps Lock finally ended up, he took off the Caps Lock to respond to him. And then he blocked him. And I sat there and told Caps Lock, I was like, look, he's actually honest with you, and he's not trying to be mean. He's really want you on the show so he can chit chat with you. He's not trying to, he doesn't think that you're an actual whatever. And then he blocked me. So I was like,
David Worley has a good suggestion there. That Satan account is awesome.
Yeah, that is one.
I don't think I followed that one.
It's a good one. It's
This
funny.
is going to drive me nuts for the weirdest
You get God, Satan, and this is Jeebus or whatever it is, all talking to each other, and it's fucking hilarious. Retweeting each other and everything.
The Satan
Greatest
account
art
that he
ever.
brought.
You remember that, Neil?
What's that?
You remember this card art?
Yes. Oh, yes, of course.
That was the one.
I remember the very day they released the first packs of Magic the Gathering. I was hanging out at my buddy's comic book store, and he goes, "Oh, they got this new trading card game. You should check it out." And it's called Magic. And I thought, "Oh, that sounds cool." And I had like 7 or 8 Black Lotuses. I had fucking tons of this shit, and I sold
those are
it all
about
off.
$30,000 a piece.
I know.
Yeah.
I know, and I sold my entire set at the time for like $5,000 or $6,000.
I'm just sharing a screenshot example of God and Satan interacting after another tweet here. It's just after Stephen Hawking passed away, this came up. I like Satan.
With Franklin.
Can confirm.
Yeah.
Can confirm. I love when they work together. It's fucking fantastic.
Fucking great.
Yes.
It's wonderful.
Well, one of my favorite tweets from the Satan account was he sat there and it was on a Sunday, and he's like, you motherfuckers better not be in church, you fucking hypocrites.
David, show the link to your book. I want to
Chill
buy
it. Chill it. Hey, Dad.
It's on his profile on Twitter, I think.
So you guys were asking me earlier about Darth Dawkins, but a conversation I enjoyed much more was one I had today with a guy named Zach Seckler, who runs an apologetics organization in the U.S. in Philadelphia. Yeah, and that was quite nice. I was on Modern Day Debate with him before, and I was filling in the last minute for some other atheist who didn't show up. So it started out to be a debate, and a conversation broke out. He just turns out to be a nice guy. He's not like these extreme Christians that get on and.
Well, this is the thing, though, and I'm not trying to say that he's not a nice guy, but this is the thing about most online apologists that I had come in contact with. Mm-hmm. They always start off as this nice, like for instance, SJ. SJ would be
that little piece of
no,
garbage,
hold on,
shriveled cunt bitch. Sorry.
Hold on, Jen.
You're gonna have to wait this out, frustrated.
I totally with you.
I'm sorry.
I'm totally with you on
that. That was rude. I'm sorry, honey. I love you. I'm sorry.
No, trust me, Jen. Though I am totally with you on that. But when SJ was first talking to a lot of us, she was very kind. She was very polite, and she sat there and she would agree with us, and she got to the point where we would all start following her. And then she started turning, and then she started getting worse and worse and worse to the point where she started some of the stuff that one of the biggest turning points for me was the Squircifer thing.
Yep.
But not only that, but then she also started saying that the only cure for depression was Jesus. And that also pissed me the fuck off. And so then there was all these other things. And then the fact that I was in a live chat and we were talking, and then I did a video on SJ about her. She had a video about the Canaanites and how they were evil and whatnot. And her whole entire thing about that. And so part of one of the things she said about it was the fact that they practiced bestiality.
Fucking.
And
that's
so
why she, faithless pheasant, she replied to him.
I sat there. She talked about how they perform bestiality, and I sat there and I looked through her sources on where she got this idea that they perform bestiality. It was from a fucking epic poem. An epic poem. And for those of y'all who don't know, an epic poem is just a poem. I do what?
I like John's comment.
I'm sorry, frustrated. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
I just Neil does that shit to me when people are talking and like my ADD fucking kicks in and it just like to blame this asshole.
Yeah, I frustrated atheist. I understand a lot of people end up turning nasty over time. My experience has been that that's true, but not of all of them. It's true of some, and there's others who they're pretty consistent. He's a young fellow, so I don't know where it's going to go in the long run, but his intention so far he seems to be well intended at this point.
Who was that Peter had on his channel last week? Who only a young kid is in the NIFB.
Really?
Matt Powell?
Pardon?
Huh? What?
Were you talking about Matt Powell?
No, only a young kid.
Zach Seckler.
It's Zach Seckler. I forget.
Huh? Oh.
But it's on
If you go to my Twitter account,
something like that.
It's
well,
still
he said something about all I heard was something about the NIFB.
There were a kid on Peter's channel last week. It was just an informal chat about beliefs and stuff, and he's part of the NIFB. And they were going on about you can't be good without God, and we're all inherently evil. But then he turns around and plays with his kid brother or whatever it was to get him out of the room, and says, "Well, if you're an evil person, you just kicked him out and thrown him out and punched him and everything. So you're not inherently evil. You're good. You're just told you're evil." This kid froze for a second, realizing what he'd done, and off he went. But I've got hope for that kid. He's an apologist, and he's well versed in apologetics. But I hope in time he'll actually leave that and actually realise that you don't have to be in apologetics to survive. I just wish I could remember his name.
I know that the only young NIFB member that I know is Guzman. He runs around with Matt Powell. He runs around with Matt Powell a lot, and in anything that Matt Powell's in, you'll see him in the side chat.
What in the fuck?
But Guzman, he's one of those that I just honestly believe that he's been indoctrinated into this, and
it is Guzman, Jonathan Guzman.
Yeah. So Guzman's one of the ones that I do believe is one of the ones that is indoctrinated into it, and the only reason why he might be in it is because of the fact that he has all these people that are there to be around him to keep him in it. So with Guzman, the thing is if you catch him alone and you talk to him alone, then you can sit there and probably get him to see reason. But because he normally keeps himself around the other members who are more equipped to handle these evil atheists, then he's less likely to be able to be alone, so that way he can see reason. So it's a really bad situation with Guzman, in my opinion. Guzman will pop in and tell him.
Standing for Truth was actually in the side chat, as well as a couple other NIFB members.
Yeah, and Standing for Truth is one of the ones that he won't flat out say he's in the NIFB, but he runs around in the same camps. He hangs around the same people.
Same beliefs.
And he has the same beliefs.
Kind of like the guy that told me he wasn't part of the ACA when he was trying to hit on me, but he was there every Sunday.
Yeah, something like that. It's one of those where he will sit there and not openly say he's a member of the NIFB or part of the Quiverful movement, but he will espouse everything that they espouse. and he will hang around the same people within those camps. And so it's
and hold it Anderson up as a cherished member of the society.
And the thing is, with Standing for Truth is that he's not that dumb of a guy. Like he's like, I don't like, for obvious reasons, I don't agree with what he says. I don't agree with the stances he has, and I do believe that he misrepresents a lot of different science. But the thing is, he does know a lot of it, enough at least to where he can memorize them.
I was going to say, we need to make a distinction here. He knows a lot, as in he's read a lot of books or whatever, but he doesn't have the understanding of it.
Oh, no. Because when you actually get him, like, for instance, whenever he debates Erica about evolution, he always strays to genetics. That is his area that he sticks next to. Yep. Because the thing is Erica doesn't know a lot about genetics, and I'm not going to say I do. I'm not going to pretend like I do, because I know dick all about it. But when Erica has her field of expertise, she knows fossils, she knows things about evolution, she knows the things about all of that good stuff. Mm-hmm. And instead of sticking with that, he always goes over to genetics. Now, if we got him with an actual geneticist, I'm pretty sure, I'm not going to say that he would definitely, but I'm pretty sure that if we got him with a geneticist, he would try to go over to different parts. So that way, he's never having to actually answer the people who are in their respected fields.
Well, this is the thing. He also wants to misrepresent evolution as being abiogenesis.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Different subject. What?
Holy fucking shit.
Neil, what are you holy fucking shitting about?
Kidding me?
Huh?
I just bought David's book. The fallacies one.
Yeah.
Which reminds me, have you got a Kindle edition of that, David?
Yes, David.
And the shipping costs are 3 times the price of the book.
Do you have a Kindle version? I actually have to get going here because I have shit that I was
tried to
get
buy
2 hours
Albert
ago.
Camus' The Plague, and it was going to ship from the UK, and it was going to be like $30 shipping. Just for
I have shit that I was supposed to get to 2 hours ago, but I was like, no, I'm going to come here. So I do need to get going. I love you guys so much, Neil. Thank you.
Oh,
don't forget, everyone, write them down because I'm not going to be here at the end to remind you.
We all adore you too, Jen.
Okay, Karen.
Jen already knows. Jen already knows that she, when she moves down here to Texas, she's going to be my new wife. So I mean, it's just.
Well, you got to fight Neil for that.
Well, look, Neil can be.
You
can be Neil's internet wife, but she'll be my real life wife.
There's no fight involved,
sleep
Jen.
with me. I'm just.
Devil's triangle.
I'm just fascinated that somebody wants to actually sleep with me and like deal with me past that. That's
switch to local. Yeah.
Jen, look. The thing is, it's not about getting past you. The thing is you have to get past being around me. This is
so
that
we're gonna
real.
last like 3 weeks before both of us are in jail. Good to know.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, you figured me out.
Texas relationship right there.
Exactly.
Yes.
The thing is, Jen. The thing is, what's gonna happen is we're gonna be like, I hate you, and then through the bars like, oh, but I love you so much.
But I can't leave my man.
Sounds like you two need to get married in Vegas.
No, I was just gonna say Utah.
We're gonna get married. Look. Once you're in Texas, that is where you are. This is your life.
Wait, hold on. Just John Anthony, just highlight that last one. Because if there hasn't been a better representation of me in a sentence, then I don't know what is.
Yes. You really are trying to kill Irish Swede, aren't you?
Dude,
that's funny because it's true.
Hold on.
I hate people that make me laugh.
Do you see what time it is right now? What time is it right now?
It's midnight.
Right. Why are
it's 1 o'clock there.
Are you playing with the toys and not laying in the bed?
2200 here.
It's 1 o'clock over there.
I hate doing a lot of things, but I still have to do them. Okay, Wolverine, you're supposed to go be laying your Wolverine furry little butt down right now. Good night.
Wow.
If any of you go, please. I'm still on. Like, hello, like the thing.
Like, hello.
Family
He's
stuff.
asking to speak to the manager.
I do this occasionally in case any of you are thinking about having children.
I already have children.
Well, look,
I've got four.
the problem
Kids
here
like me.
is with Jin and her child is that if Jin tries to speak to her child's manager, Jin is the manager. So
I have to cage fight with. Do you know
Oh,
what
no,
it's
Neil's
like
the manager
raising?
while she's online.
You know what it's like raising me? Horrifying.
Here you go, Jen.
Would not recommend.
There's my little.
Agnostic pagan mother. You must be in my neck of the woods.
Oh, you're
This is
in
9:57
the
here,
age
too.
where they don't know funny ways to come back at you. And
That's,
you just
that's a
sit there
great picture.
stunned.
Man, this is a good picture.
That is a great picture. But yeah,
it
I'm
is
going to get
11.
going because I have
Goodbye,
a
Jan.
sink full of dishes and I love you guys so much. Bye-bye.
Good night, Jen.
Okay,
We love
I
you,
got
Jim.
to
Goodbye,
bring
Jim.
this to an end anyways too because
Oh, I'm
I
on
am,
for the first time in forever, and you want to get off.
yes, that's right. No, I don't want to get off.
Neil's
That's
a bitch
not
like that.
phrasing,
Neil.
man. Phrasing.
As
Well, how
Archer,
do you know I didn't
Will
want to
will
phrase
you
it that way?
Please stop trying to kill me.
Sterling Archer.
How do you know I didn't want to
Crazy.
phrase it that way, Neil?
If you did, well then.
Oh, I have a couple things coming up. I just want to mention.
Oh,
Uh-huh. I know.
So on June 3rd at 1800 Pacific time, I'll be on Modern Day Debate, teamed up with Jim Majors to debate two Christians. I don't know who the Christians are yet, but the topic will be: is believing in Jesus irrational, or something to that effect. And then on June 5th at 0600, I'll be on the Daily Atheist to talk about critical thinking.
Oh,
Who else has things coming up?
we're neighbors.
I am actually going to actually start making videos, and
Hey.
I cannot think of another one. And you guys can tell me if there is a channel out that does this. But what H Bomber guy did with his charity stream, you guys know what I'm talking about with that, with his
No.
Donkey Kong.
No.
He did this like 56-hour charity stream to raise money for a trans group in England, and ended up raising like 300 and some thousand bucks.
Holy shit, that's awesome.
Yeah, and on the stream, he even had like AOC call in and stuff like that. Like it was.
oh wow.
There's only
So anyway,
one-
I am a
there's only
white
one I can think of
cisgendered
that.
hetero, male, and I thought I would create a channel where trans people could come on and just tell their stories.
That's a
good
great idea.
I don't know of
Okay.
another channel that does that, and so there's probably a lack of that. And based on what I see on Twitter, there needs to be an outlet for people, and just like
Yes.
Neil
Yeah.
does.
Yeah, I could line you up with a bunch of people.
Yeah, the only
But
person I
Neil's
can
got
think
you
of is
booked
anything
for-
But
similar.
what I
while.
want to do is, also be able to ask questions from my perspective, to be able to let people who are sitting in my seat to understand their position better.
Great idea.
Yeah, the only
That's a
person
good
I
idea.
can think of does anything similar, even closely, is Mr. Atheist, and that's very rare and occasionally.
Yeah,
But I
Jim,
want to do
have
that
a-
for the trans non-binary
Yeah.
group. And I think-
Well,
When you get
his
your
is-
channel set up, please let me know, and I'll put it into the Atheist Frontier for you as well.
okay.
Yeah, I'm going to
Appreciate it.
say it's more of a sexuality that he does, so it might be an ace person or something like that. It's not strictly non-binary or trans. So,
But
it's the
there's a
only
lot
person
of
I can think
confusion from somebody in my position who is like the ideal society person, and I know that's a terrible way to put it, but it's you grow up, you're white,
Dead City has
cisgendered male.
suggestion.
It's you don't understand what somebody else is going through, and having that outlet to help people. I have some non-binary and trans people that I follow and follow me on Twitter, and I've learned, I don't know, probably 10 years worth of stuff and just interacting with them just a little bit. So
Yeah, I learned a lot watching Luxander.
yeah, Alexander's good.
Yeah, their channel is amazing. It break all the different terms that are associated with either sexuality or gender, and it helped me huge, actually, coming out of bigotry, I suppose.
yeah, and I know I'm probably still have remnants in language that I use, in ways that I ask questions, in different ways. So I want to be able to be like, okay, I'm in this position. I want to ask this. I want to understand this. What's the best way to communicate my misunderstanding so that I can know what's going on?
The one that I got was, which questions aren't appropriate? It's like if I was to ask you a relatively innocent question, because we're both cis, het, male, all the rest of it, it's relatively innocuous. But when you ask someone, especially someone that you hardly know, it becomes deeply personal and deeply offensive that you've actually asked a question. And that's because they get the question so often, whereas between me and you, it's just assumed.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is one of the beautiful things about the trans community is like whenever you actually do ask those type of questions, thankfully, a lot of them are very, very patient and understanding that you don't know these things. So they will sit there and explain it to you why this is so deeply personal and why this is not the best way to ask this question.
About 2 years ago, there were a particular video where there was Luxander, AJ Sorrell, Mr. Atheist, and 2 other people I'm not going to name. And they were all in a stream together. And one of the other people said something that wasn't quite right. It was not intentionally offensive, but when they turned around and said, on X person, that's not right, can you please not say that? This person went off the rocker at him, and the entire stream turned down into a shit show.
Yeah, I think if somebody said that to me, I would be like, okay, help me understand what's the best way to say it, and why did the words that I use?
Well, this person's not very good at taking constructive criticisms. In fact, one of the 5 people on this show has just turned down a debate with them.
Oh, so I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, I thought you might.
Yeah.
And
the
on
thing
their
is
old channel.
Because I'm not afraid to admit I'm completely ignorant as far as that area.
Well, the thing is though, is with the person that he's talking about, is this is a person who thinks that they know everything.
Okay.
And when you get these type of people who think that they know everything, when they go to say something,
nobody knows everything.
When they get corrected, they take it so personally and they take it offensively, like as if you just pretty much told them, "Go fuck yourself, you motherfucker."
I don't understand that mindset.
I don't either.
Corrected on something,
that's the mindset
I'm
I had
for it
4 years ago when I was a young Earth creationist. I mean,
but this person at the time touted themselves as providing a platform for reasonable debate, although may turn into a dumpster fire.
Yeah.
That was the business model of their channel.
Mm-hmm.
However, you don't ask them on definitions of things because they really throw a hissy fit.
Right.
Yeah.
And by now, everybody should know who we're talking about.
I have no idea.
There are some big names out there that probably would like to tell their story. Like if you ever, I don't know.
When we go offline, I'll tell you, Neil.
Okay. But yeah, like Neebs Gaming's editor is trans, and people like that would have like 1.6 million followers would generate a lot of interest to watch and maybe even understand.
Hold on, agnostic pagan mother. What is angstridge?
That would be a no then.
Yeah.
Angstrike? That's what it looks like to me.
I have no idea what that word even is. So, dank dipshit. Oh,
Dank dipshit. I still don't know what the hell's going on there.
If I'm thinking correctly, I think agnostic pagan mother is trying to explain or trying to ask if it's a certain somebody that we're speaking about, and
I thought so, but I wasn't sure. No,
but
will do.
But I don't know if if you think you mean dink dipshit as in Count Dankula. That's so I have no idea what you're referring to by that. So Oh no, we're not talking about Darth Doofus. We're talking about somebody else.
No, that was like an hour ago.
Yeah, we were talking about Darth Doofus a while ago, but the person we're talking about right now is somebody different that we will that I have to. I'll discuss after we get offline.
It's okay. I already know who it is now, and that's kind of actually
Okay.
I kind of thought about that person myself, and
Yeah.
I went, maybe. So I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah, it's
Anyway.
it's that person. Yeah.
Yeah, that person's been sinking lower and lower and lower as time goes on.
Oh, I think I know who
especially
that
now
is.
with the new circle jerk buddy. Fucking hell, should have seen that one coming.
Actually, I was thinking one of two people, but I think I know exactly who it is now.
It's in private chat.
I
Yeah,
have
it's
no
in the
idea
private
what
chat.
any of you are talking about.
Yeah, that's who I was thinking.
Yeah.
That's who I narrowed.
That person is somebody who, like Sweet was saying, was somebody who liked to platform their, like to say that their platform was a place for rational discussion and debate. And whenever, yeah, and then whenever,
I'm sorry. What?
I've had some run-ins with them. I understand what the problems are.
Oh,
yeah, and so whenever he sat there and got corrected on one thing by somebody who was explaining to them,
is a code word that could mean he or she, just to be clear.
natives like just say the name everyone knows.
No. Not gonna do that here. Anyway,
No, if you say his name, he turns up. So it's
His or her name.
It's like Candyman, you know.
there, his, her, there. It could be any of those, right? So,
We have to be unclear.
yeah.
Oh, that suits their model then.
But
Yeah.
if we but here's a way to say it without giving it away, without actually saying it. The thing is, if you do just happen to talk about him, he will make sure that he sues you for everything you got, because that's defamation and you're harassing him.
Because that makes sense. All right.
Him or her. Yeah.
Him or her.
Yep. Him, her, they, them. Remember, guys, you got to remember there's more than just the two nowadays.
But the other thing I was going to bring up earlier is also if anybody has any economic stuff that they want to bring on for debates or anything, I am available. So
There you go.
Cool.
let me know.
So I'm just gonna let this be known for everybody. I'm just the token Texan. So people keep telling me I used to have a channel.
In so long, Russ, dude.
I know. But
It's
people
all
keep
right.
telling me I once had a channel, but I haven't seen the evidence of this yet. So I'm really skeptical about it. But yeah, I'm just the token Texan right now. So
You can text it. All right.
It's all right. I'm the token representative of the Queen for them two idiots.
Two idiots. Yeah,
It's not even a real country anyway.
You guys just keep painting that White House white, and you won't have any problems with us. We ordered you to paint it white before, and you've been keeping that order, and we're very happy.
That's right.
A good arrangement.
Apart from you let an orangement in it.
look, I'm a Texan. I don't have to I don't have to paint any White House white.
No, you have to keep the picket fence white.
No, you don't.
Nope. The
It's
government
kind of hard
does
to
that.
do from Texas.
Yeah, but the thing is, what people don't know is a Texan is a breed of their own. So whenever other people are like, I'm from America, when they go other places, I just go, nah, I'm from Texas. Well, doesn't that make you an American? I'm a Texan guy. Just leave it at that.
Texans. Yeah, just
When are you guys going to join Canada? You've talked about leaving the country before.
Yeah. You can join us. You can join
Yeah,
us
the
with
thing is, I
Washington
definitely-
State and Oregon and I think Idaho or something. We want to make
So
Cascadia.
this
I think being in
California
Texas.
too. Yeah.
I think being in Texas, I think what Russ needs to do is get out of the country as soon as possible, which means going south, which is safer than being in USA.
Well, no, actually, technically, it depends on where I go, because actually, the closest See, Texas is its own country, so we're just gonna get that out of the way first. So the thing is the closest then to the next closest country to me would be Louisiana. So
I said safe.
South, but why would I go down there?
Well, in Mexico,
fried
it's
chicken.
safer than being in America or US.
Well, the thing is one of the worst things. I love going down to Mexico. We used to go down there when I was a kid all the time. But one of the things that I absolutely hated about this place is the fact that in Mexico, you like here in the United States, you do have some liberties. Like in order for the government to come into your house, they have to have a warrant, or like I guess if somehow somebody was invading, I guess they could come in. But down in Mexico, it doesn't matter what the occasion is. It doesn't matter. They can come into your house and you cannot say anything about it. If you try to speak up, you will be shot.
Right.
And
Okay.
so-
I've not explained myself properly. Because it is safer to go down to Mexico, you then get on a flight up to Canada.
Oh, okay.
It's quicker to do that and safer
He's
than waiting in
talking
an
travel
American
strategy.
airport. Yeah, rather
I
than
see-
waiting in
I
an
see.
American airport for 7 hours or whatever it is.
I see that now. I get what you're saying now. So just be down in Mexico long enough to get on a plane to Canada. I got you. Well, that
that
does
being
make
said-
sense now.
That being said, if you're doing it like that, you may as well go all out and go back to the homeland of the UK, you know.
Well,
Land
the
of
thing
the
is, I honestly don't know where the homeland actually is, because I'm so filled with a bunch of different shit. Like,
That's for
it's
sure.
hilarious. It's hilarious because, well, yeah, I'm full of that kind of shit too. But anyways, so it's funny because me and my mom always talk about this, about, you know, our trying to chase our ancestry. And my mom seems to think that we come from the people of my last names, which I'm not going to give out because I don't give out my name on any of this. So, but where my last name comes from, we can either be from Ireland or Scotland.
That is a
If we
great
come-
flag that you should fly proudly.
If we come from,
Not my team, buddy.
Right,
If we
does
come
it begin
from-
with O or M, your surname?
it begins with none of those. But the thing is,
you just fucked.
but the
These
thing
came
is
free in
over
beer
there,
cases.
if we came from Ireland, we came from more of the poor side of the spectrum. Whereas if we came from Scotland, we actually might have came from royalty. And my mom seems to think that we might came from Scotland because there's actually supposedly, because she had gotten a letter when she was in high school about a family reunion back over in England at the
You know those,
family
you know those
mansion.
options aren't mutually exclusive, don't you?
Do what?
If you came from those options aren't mutually exclusive, because if you came from
Yes,
royalty in
I do know
Scotland,
that.
they were outcast to Ireland when Bonnie Prince Charles came up through from France.
Yeah, so this is why it's so hard, because we did have a relative of ours, my great aunt, who passed away a couple of years, like last year or the year before that. And she actually traced back our family tree all the way back to I want to say the Middle Ages. But all of that all that ancestry that she found became lost over time. And so I have no fucking clue where it is. And unless I get one of those 23andMe kits that's like outrageous in pricing, then I'm never going to know what I am.
The thing is, when you do 23andMe, they don't actually work in the UK.
They don't?
No, because the registry is restricted to church records from about 1700 backwards. So you can only go back as far as then.
Oh, wow.
In Ireland, if you're a part of a major clan like I was, like the McKee clan, then you can kind of guess where your ancestors were. And then at least you can target which churches to go look at the records for. Yeah.
The thing is, your clan actually came from Scotland and moved to Ireland.
Hi, Mikey.
Yeah, we're Scotch Irish.
All this and apparently physically incapable of tanning.
Oh, so you're ginger.
Yeah.
You have no
So,
soul.
I know somebody who said that they could. Now I don't know how true this is, but I know somebody who. So you gotta. The reason why I say I don't know how true this is because I like this guy. I worked with him. He's a great guy. Like a phenomenal guy, but he tend to over talk how much he knew about things. So for instance, I'll take something that I know quite well, which is horses. And this guy, I was explaining to him the different types of horses. For some reason, draft horse was not. I couldn't remember that word, draft. I just could not for the life of me.
Yeah, that seems pretty good. Not Mac atheist. That would be Scottish.
Yeah, but so
They're both Scottish.
so I couldn't
Highland,
remember the
mixed
draft
with
horse.
Lowlands.
And this guy, what he tried to do was I sat there and said that there's halflingers and there's quarter horses, and then I would try to think of the word draft horse, and I could not think of it, and I kept running it over in my mind trying to think of it, and he was like a full horse, and I was thinking, and I was like, what? No, there's no such thing as a full horse. Like quarter horse doesn't mean that it's the quarter of the size of the horse, but so that's why I say I don't know how true this is, but the guy said that he was part of the McDougan, and if that name sounds familiar, yeah, if that name sounds familiar, it's from Highlander.
Yeah, but it's not even McDougan.
It's Duncan, isn't it?
Yes.
Duncan McLeod.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's the what? McLeod.
McLeod.
McLeod. That's not a hereditary clan in Scotland.
Yeah, that's why I said this guy. He liked to say that he was all these things, and I'm just like,
Is it
I
true that they
really-
came from the
I don't really
Mackays?
think so.
That being said, I'm actually a lord of Scotland.
Okay.
There you go.
Is this fucking genealogy me 2320 bullshit whatever, is this going to take long, or because I'm trying to end the show?
You are not ending the show, Neil. I
I
told you I'm taking over this stream right now. We're doing this until.
Is that right?
No, laddie. I'm
Back
from the
yourself.
big badasses. We don't like to hear about other people talking about other clan. I don't know. All of my
That's not bad.
all of my European accents are based on Lord of the Rings. Sorry, not
That was
sorry.
European.
Don't worry.
You're an elf
Mikey.
or a
Yeah, kinda.
dwarf or a goblin or a
Mikey.
Uruk-hai. That's
Mikey,
what
don't
you're
worry
at.
because my Irish accent sounds like a fake fucking trying to be the Lucky
Probably
Charms
sounds
leprechaun.
Newfoundland.
It's like it's like
Lucky
"Just
Charms.
gotta catch me Lucky Charms.
You gotta get Matt Pig to say that.
Terrible.
They're magically
Every time he's on-
delicious.
Every time he's on my channel, I get him to say it. Math Pig, do it. Say it. He's like, okay, fine. Me Lucky Charms. He does it all the time. So
Poor guy.
he thinks it's
Always
funny.
reminds me of that Austin Powers movie. Is it number 2 where there's a little Irish fella does it?
Oh yeah, the Lucky Charms
Hot
guy.
bastard.
Who?
Yeah.
Who does
Well,
number
there's
2
the
work
origin-
for?
yeah, the original assassin.
You
was
keep
different
your
from
money, and I keep your baby.
Yeah, that's really
Hey,
good.
you can keep the money, but
Well done.
just
So
give me the
Fatbox is an
baby.
atheist then.
I want my baby back,
Yeah,
baby
he's
back,
a
baby
baby
back, baby
eater.
back.
Oh, and
You
I want my baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back.
and that's
Chili's baby back. Rib.
and that's something that everyone who loves comedy needs to understand. I know Mike Myers is cornball as shit, but for him to do baby back, that extra half step on the baby back is hilarious to a comedian.
yeah.
The thing is, Michael Myers may be cheesy as fuck, But he knows it's cheesy as fuck. He's intending it to be cheesy as fuck.
Oh, yeah.
Unlike Adam Sandler.
I can't show you guys what I'm eating right now.
It's
I have
Welsh.
right now Taylor's Welsh potato crisp, lamb and mint flavor.
Lamb and mint flavor. Mm.
You do realise you've had some Welshmen fucking your lamb.
Say,
give
hey,
it that special
McLeod,
flavour.
get off of my you.
That's only because the crime for stealing sheep and fucking sheep were two different crimes, and they had two different penalties. So whenever you got caught with a sheep that wasn't yours, you just claimed that you were taking it out back for a joyride, because the punishment was different.
Yeah.
One was death, and the other one was losing your hand, I believe.
Ooh,
Oh,
I don't know. I've been accused of being a sheep shagger.
Sounds
I'm wondering
reasonable.
which one I want.
sounds like Saudi Arabia.
yep.
No,
That's
that's when
goats.
it's someone else's
Caught
wife.
stealing once when I was 5. Oh, sorry.
This is a fucking scam. This is like a goddamn potato. There's no flavor at all. All the lamb and mint is in your head. This doesn't taste like anything. Taylor's, a
Mikey.
sponsor of Neil the 604 Atheist. You guys are liars. This doesn't taste like anything.
Sponsor.
This is
Mikey.
literally the blandest. I have what's Yum Box or some like international snack.
Yum box, that could be misconstrued.
Alcohol.
Yes, indeed.
Amazing.
I'll call you later.
Have you been in the Matrix again, Mikey? Everything tastes like
I think
chicken.
he has.
But it's what do we got here? Let me see that. We've got Johnny's pickled onion rings. We got like a bunch of UK snacks.
I think you need to see a doctor if you've got pickled onion rings.
yeah, that's not right.
There's a bunch of UK snacks and this Taylor's Welsh potato crisps, lamb and
Welsh
mint.
potato crisp.
It's a fucking potato chip.
I'll have to ask my friend.
Look,
Chris.
the Welsh think that everything is just potato flavored, okay?
And if it was authentic Welsh, it'd be leek.
That's right.
Hold on. Let me turn off my.
Hey, Tony Designs is here.
Oh yeah, because the other show he was watching stopped.
Oh, thank God for that. The
So
world-
before I came in,
Your nice-looking drinks disappeared. Lamb and mint. Wow.
It tastes like fucking potato
And beef,
and
maybe?
salt. Like this is a regular. Oh, you taste it?
Yeah.
My girl says she.
It's like toothpaste.
I don't taste any fucking
Tastes
lamb.
like toothpaste flavored potato chips.
It tastes like nothing. Like this is bland as shit. I have no mint flavor here.
Sea salt and vinegar. That's the only potato chip flavor you need.
Barbecue
What?
Fritos.
All the
Barbecue
Doritos.
Fritos.
Ketchup. What
Had
else?
those. Those are
Onion.
okay once in a while.
That's my favorite. Sour cream and onion. Sour cream and bacon. Fuck, come on.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
No, they have them.
You need to get some Worcester sauce chips. Crisps.
Some Lee and Perrins.
Mikey's dying. Mikey,
I think
die
Mikey's just
quieter,
got
will you?
all the flavour.
Yeah, all in one chip.
we thought it was sweet that was gonna die, but nope, it's Mikey.
Oh, it was in my teeth. I had to get it out. This is awful.
What flavour we
Since
got
you
now?
mentioned bacon and toothpaste, I got a
Pickled
picture
onion,
of a product here.
Yeah, pickled onion are awesome.
Oh, this is wretched.
Dude, never ask a British person what actually tastes good. They don't know.
Oh, that's bad. Oh, that's bad.
Agnostic pagan mother, you don't know what you're talking about. Sea salt and vinegar is brilliant.
Yeah, right. You probably got like a fucking fish's ass stuffed up a potato and you call that a fucking crisp. I don't trust you guys
No, we call that
anymore.
Cornwall.
Oh God!
Give me a chip.
Ow!
There's no more chips.
Sweet now.
Give me a chip, woman.
There's no more chips.
What do you got there then?
Right, Rory, no, I bought a square foot of land, so I was able to call myself Lord of Glencoe.
So, poor Irish Swede. This isn't tough love. This isn't tough love. This is tough laugh.
All right,
My
this is next.
sternum is so sore right now, and I never thought I would
They're
ever say
kind of
those
bland,
words.
but taste okay.
Dean's shortbread. Let's see what's going on with this.
They
So
taste
am I
okay, but they're pretty
correct to
bland.
Shortbread cookies are
So my-
good.
So am I correct in saying that over in England, they're the type that think mayo's spicy?
Wait, same time.
Mayo spicy. That's called a married raw sauce.
Hey Neil, they were
Mayonnaise,
talking
tomato
about
sauce,
toothpaste and
and
bacon
paprika.
earlier. I got a picture up here that's relevant. It shouldn't make you laugh too hard, Irish Swede.
And Dead City,
it's
Gordon
just a
Ramsay's
product.
not a good chef.
I'm
As soon as Neil
gonna,
puts it
I'm
up.
gonna hope that it doesn't make me laugh too hard.
Oh no, it's not super funny. I'm just waiting for Neil to put it up on the screen. I wonder if he can hear us.
Neil. Oh, Neil.
I can fucking hear you.
It's like they,
Well,
I'm dealing with something. Settle down.
it's like they took sawdust and they made a cookie out of it.
That's British food for you.
Has it got sugar on it?
Who can know?
No, you'll see sugar sprinkled on top of it if it has.
No.
What am I supposed to
Right,
do?
right,
What
it's
am
not
I? What am
proper
I doing?
shortbread.
What am I doing?
Oh, because we were talking about
Oh.
bacon and talking about toothpaste, I thought I'd put
Oh.
this product picture up.
Yeah.
You know, Lay's came out with a toothpaste and orange juice flavored chip.
Yep.
Oh, really?
No, that was a
That was a joke, but yeah.
yeah. They didn't actually make it. It was just they also had one that was tears of your enemies.
The lamentations of the women.
There you go. I got a bacon lollipop.
Oh, zoom it up for us. We can't see it in the little screen
Oh
there.
yeah, right.
Give me something else to try.
Nothing else.
There you go.
There's nothing else.
There you go.
No.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Ah, that looks great. Where'd you get that?
That was a gift, so I have no idea.
Probably the Iowa State Fair.
Pine snake.
Oh, got you. Oh, bonbons. They're okay.
Chewy
Um,
bonbons, too.
It's toffee in the middle.
What a
with,
bag design that is.
a
That's
powder
pretty
on
awesome.
outside.
If an English person says it's only okay, we're gonna think it's shit.
Well, it depends what flavour the frosting is.
Rhubarb and custard.
I don't like rhubarb, so it's going to be awful.
I don't know why you want people to pee at me. I'm not sure.
That's
Oh.
weird.
What is
The
that
next-
called? Bristow's
Golden
toffee.
shower.
Yep,
She's
golden
got Bristow's
showers.
toffee. Fudge.
I-
Bristow's tub. Fudge.
I charge $500 for those. Just saying.
You want to try Pontefract cakes?
Every man has his
Ooh,
price.
fudge. What's
Fudge,
You
clotted
can't go wrong
cream.
with fudge, can you?
Clotted cream.
You want to try Pontefract cakes? It's a type of licorice.
Ooh, bonbons are
Don't
good.
eat too much.
I like
Is that like eating
bonbons.
too many gummy bears where your system cleans itself out?
Yeah.
it's
However,
but only the sugar-free gummy bears.
the Pontefract cakes, I think they're about the size of is it a quarter in America, and they're about an inch across. And if you have
Look at
about
Mikey.
4 of them,
It's like
you,
you're chewing
Fucking
cud.
good.
but if you eat these about 4 or 5 of these Pontefract cakes, your bowels just void themselves everywhere.
That's an amazing looking package
According
design.
to my wife, who is a registered dietitian, that's called dumping syndrome.
The big syndrome. Okay. All right, you guys.
Plus.
All right, you guys. I got to end this because I got to talk with Mikey and I got to talk with Randolph after about some unrelated shit. So,
Thank you, Neil, for having me.
hey, man.
Dream after the party.
Anyway, yeah, no, Irish
Randolph,
Sweet,
come
it's great
back.
for you that you were able to jump in, man. I appreciate it. And sorry that
Don't panic.
we were. All right, I'm just gonna fucking mute everyone until I'm finished saying what I'm gonna say.
Again,
Yeah. I'm glad you were able to come in here, man. I'm sorry that we were causing you chest pain from all the laughter. And Russ, nice to have you back in.
Oh, it's always great to be back.
And Mikey, thanks for jumping back in. I know you took off for a while, and if you said if we were still going, yeah. Look at this shit. Look at this guy. Stop dropping the bombs there. The bombs. Never mind. I know it was bad.
You now have a sponsor.
Huh? Yeah, I got a sponsor now.
Don't hate them because they're delicious.
All right, and Randolph, always good to have you in these. And of course, Pine Snake, I'm pleased as punch that you're able to jump in my after parties again, because you used to way back in the day, but always awesome. And of course, thanks to Jen for jumping in earlier. And and I'll have a little
Really good.
I'll have a little thank you tweet going out momentarily. So look for that. And thank you guys for hanging out with us. I hope you guys enjoyed our ridiculousness as usual. And I got to call this one quits. Got a few things to take care of before I end up going to crash pretty soon, because I stayed up really late last night and had to jam early in the morning. So anyway, until next time, guys, because of the pandemic going on right now, be well, be safe, and above all, be kind. And like the late great Christopher Hitchens once said, it's called faith because it's not knowledge.